Pharmacist is a surname, Nonaiu is a given name. Sure enough, my hunch was right. This little girl is the director of the orphanage who adopted Kabuto Yakushi. Yakushi Nono. A spy with the title of Walking Miko, she is also a skilled medical ninja. Her achievements are basically a replica of Kabuto Yakushi's. Seeing her, an idea suddenly popped into Orochimaru's mind. Perhaps, before Kabuto Yakushi was born, he could train this girl to be his assistant? Orochimaru nodded thoughtfully. Speaking of assistants, Orochimaru had considered countless individuals. But no one meets his requirements. Among all the people, the one who best meets his requirements is Tsunade. Not only does he have the best relationship with me, but he also has excellent professional knowledge, powerful medical talents, and can even detoxify. The perfect assistant. But she has a fatal flaw, and that is her bloodline. She is a member of the Senju clan, and she will probably never do anything to disgrace Konoha in her life. If he becomes a victim of Konoha's political struggle in the future, or if he is forced to do live experiments, then Tsunade may be the first to stand up and stop him. This is what Orochimaru doesn't want to see. So now, when he saw the pharmacist Nanoyu, he immediately had an idea. She is still young and has a lot of plasticity. Maybe give it a try. Pharmacist Nanoyu is now just a little girl of 4 or 5 years old. She was an orphan from Konoha village. Danzo discovered her special talent and took her to root. She was still a little confused at this time, but when she saw Orochimaru, a trace of curiosity flashed across her face. She has been here for more than half a month. Except for Danzo, everyone else is dressed in fancy clothes, armor, and masks. But Orochimaru now? But he's dressed as a Chuunin? This person's status shouldn't be low, right? Nanoyu thought so. Because when she came in, everyone told her that except for Danzo-sama and her, everyone here was a ninja. They are all the roots that protect Konoha. The root ninja, armor, ninja sword, and colorful masks are standard. At this time, Orochimaru has nothing, so he can go with Danzo-sama, which explains the problem. What's wrong? Do you want to choose that little girl as your opponent? Seeing Orochimaru fell into silence, Danzo couldn't help but remind him. Orochimaru came back to his senses. How is that possible? You, and the few I just named, come on together. Let's go together, are you sure? Danzo couldn't help but be stunned. Originally, the ninjas of the route were the elites selected by Danzo. Except for the children who had just come in, they were also the elite Chuunin with the lowest combat power. Now Orochimaru ordered 5 people at once? Even if they are on top shinobu, it will often be difficult to fight, right? Orochimaru said casually. Of course. Get Orochimaru's affirmative answers so that he can issue the order. Everyone else, please vacate the venue, and the few people who were just named stay. Under Danzo's arrangement, the two sides began a contest with unequal numbers. In fact, for the root ninjas, they looked down on Orochimaru. Because they didn't know the results of Orochimaru's Chuunin exam, and they didn't know Orochimaru's scientific research achievements. They only know that Orochimaru is a disciple of Hiruzen Sarutobi. How can a disciple of Hiruzen Sarutobi get the favor of Lord Danzo? So in their hearts, they not only look down on Orochimaru, but they also have a big dissatisfied. But now, seeing Orochimaru wanting to challenge the 5 of them, they couldn't help but hesitate, and at the same time looked at their Lord Danzo. The meaning was obvious: can they use all their strength in this battle? Subordinates Danzo understood what it meant, but he was also confused. Who knew how Orochimaru wanted to fight? Originally, according to Danzo's approach, when faced with this kind of competition, of course he would do his best. But Orochimaru, it was a talent he had managed to dig out. What if it was destroyed? Therefore, Danzo was also a little unsure about paying attention. I'm not as weak as you think. Seeing the concerns of several people, Orochimaru pointed at his heart casually. If you don't have the determination to kill me, you have no chance at all. Yet, looks quite confident. Ever since you came to our roots, I have always wanted to compete with you. As long as Danzo-sama agrees, I have no problem. Danzo-sama, please give the order. 5 root ninjas, 4 men and 1 woman, all asked Danzo to fight. Danzo narrowed his eyes, thought for a moment, and then slowly said, you guys try your best. However, control the part you attack. Danzo is really afraid of destroying Orochimaru. After all, ordinary ninjas can just retrain after death. But like Orochimaru, they are really gone after death. Yes. Learn. Several Gen ninjas responded respectfully to Danzo's order. Gen is an independent department. In Gen, Danzo's orders are more effective than Hokage's orders. So without Danzo's permission, they can't let go at all. But now, with Danzo's order, they can do whatever they want. However, they originally thought it was a battle that could be won easily, but they fought extremely hard. Because Orochimaru's power and speed have now reached a very high level. Exaggerated to the point of exaggeration. This guy is really not weak. Hugh, stop him. This guy is very powerful, don't confront him. Understand? Hey, just dodge his first blow, Nanny. Psychic technique. Bang. A puff of white smoke rose up, and before the ninja named Chiu could react. Phew. A black shadow flew out of the white smoke. The black shadow was extremely fast, and before he could react, it had successfully hit his neck. Moreover, the black shadow retreated with one blow, leaving him no chance to fight back. This is Snake. Zio covered his bitten neck and looked at the black shadow that was far away from him with a look of disbelief. How could the snake be so fast? The other 4 people were also stunned. This snake could actually bite Zio? What happened? But just when everyone was surprised by the speed of this snake, something even more surprising happened to them. Hey, Master, I did a good job. After the snake went back, it quickly wrapped around Orochimaru's waist. The snake's head appeared on Orochimaru's shoulder and said to Orochimaru with a flattering look on his face. Yes, flattering, explain. Not only can it speak, but it can also express emotions? This is crazy. There are many kinds of psychic beasts. But those who can talk are generally of a higher level. Of course, the fact that a psychic beast can talk is nothing to a ninja. It doesn't matter if the psychic beast has an expression. Because that's what Sarutobi Hiruzen's monkey demon is like. But now, words and expressions appear on a snake's face at the same time? This feeling, no matter how you look at it, feels inconsistent. A cold-blooded animal like a snake? Can you still see the expression? Hearing the snake's question, Orochimaru smiled slightly. You are indeed doing well, and your speed seems to be getting faster and faster. Thanks to the owner. The python said respectfully. Its voice was like a child of about 10 years old. Yes, this python is the one Orochimaru helped evolve before. It was originally an ordinary flower python, but after using the third after 1 dose of evolutionary fluid, it shed its skin 3 times. Each time it sheds its skin, its color becomes darker and its body becomes smaller. Now, after 3 sheds of evolution fluid, it has completely absorbed the power of the first evolutionary fluid. Not only has it evolved intelligence, but its speed and scale defense have also been significantly improved. It was originally as thick as an adult's calf, but now it is only as thick as Orochimaru's arm, and its color has also changed towards black. So Orochimaru gave it was named Zayahei. What's going on with this black snake? Something weird. Hugh, are you okay? Body, can't move. Zio said with a look of horror. As a ninja, he naturally has some common sense. The brighter the color of a snake, the less toxic it is, and larger pythons are generally non-venomous. This snake you can't tell whether it's poisonous by looking at the size, but the color is so black? It's obviously poisonous. He was just bitten on the artery in his neck, and he was worried that he would die from the poison in the next second. Hey, boy, what do you mean? If the toxicity is too strong, detoxify it quickly. Is it too much to bite the artery directly? Even Danzo frowned at this time. He had asked his subordinates to pay attention to the attack site. What do you mean by directly killing them? Orochimaru smiled casually. Don't worry, Blackie. The ability can only paralyze a person's body, but it can't kill him. Zaya-hei? The name of this snake? But, only paralysis. How can this be? Yeah, the color of this snake. The remaining 4 ninjas all expressed disapproval of Orochimaru's words. But Danzo, who was watching the battle from the side, believed it. Because he knows that Orochimaru doesn't have to lie. And based on his understanding of Orochimaru, even if this kid said that rabbits can bite people to death, he would probably believe it. Thinking of this, he subconsciously looked at the subordinate named Chiu. Sure enough, apart from being unable to move, there were no symptoms of poisoning such as the wound turning black or foaming at the mouth. Did this guy modify the genes of this snake? Orochimaru shrugged. Okay, stop talking nonsense, let's continue, but you'd better be careful. If you are bitten by Xiaohei, you will suffer the same fate as him. As he said that, Orochimaru lightly kicked the armor on Zio's lower abdomen. Zio was very tragic. Because Orochimaru's kick was very slow, but he could only watch. He could NT speak or hide. Bang! Kicked away, he fell heavily to the ground. Seeing the condition of their companions, several other Enbu breathed a sigh of relief, and at the same time, they also became more wary of Orochimaru. This time, not only must they be careful of Orochimaru, you have to be careful about that black snake. Of course, the most important thing is that this black snake is a little unusual. Its speed is actually not as fast as imagined. If they attack normally, they can also react. But the problem is, it was on Orochimaru's body when the two sides were fighting. Snakes are mollusks. After evolving intelligence, will they avoid attacks? They work perfectly with Orochimaru, and they might come out and bite you. Being bitten, an artery will lose its ability to move in 3 seconds, and it only takes a few seconds to bite other places. Facing Orochimaru's dirty tricks, in less than 3 minutes, all 5 root ninjas were attacked by Xiaohei's poisonous hands. My body too. This is, certainly, body holding technique? After they were attacked, a famous ninja finally spit out these words. This snake does not use poison, but a body holding technique commonly used by Enbu? This is the first skill that Orochimaru evolved for it. Xiao Black's intelligence, speed, and scale defense are all the basic functions of the evolutionary fluid. The immobilization technique is the ability that comes with it. The immobilization technique is a general term for techniques that can immobilize people. There are many people in the original work it has been used before. For example, Uchiha Itachi used it against Orochimaru. This is a genjutsu. Anbu and Mitarashi Anko also used it against the tiger in the Forest of Death. This is a ninjutsu. But in general, it is used by people on animals. People use it on animals. The holding techniques used on people generally belong to the illusion type. For example, Kurane Ui, Teiwia, Uchiha's Sharingan, etc. Using animals on people? It's almost impossible. But who is Orochimaru? He is an expert. This one, the snake, was originally a non-venomous flower python, but Orochimaru wanted it to have a certain attack effect after biting people. Through the evolutionary fluid, it was fused with a gene with huge spiritual power. After merging this gene, the little black's spiritual power becomes extremely powerful. At the moment of biting, this spiritual power is injected into the human body, directly causing a immobilizing effect on the enemy. This is equivalent to forcibly making the enemy fall under an illusion. Although the way it was performed made the illusion lose its distance advantage and sense of mystery, but it did make its attacks more useful. Moreover, the evolutionary fluid transformed Xiao Hei's snake body, so he was not afraid of being backlashed by this powerful spiritual power. As for Orochimaru, why let it evolve this ability instead of evolving a more aggressive neurotoxin? That's because Orochimaru feels that for him, no matter what enemy he faces, the living are definitely more useful than the dead. I firmly believe this. Looking at the 5 ANBU who fell to the ground, Orochimaru sighed helplessly. Do the ninjas who wanted to try their roots have any special abilities that they can borrow? Now it seems that most of their ninjutsu are also a very common 5 elements ninjutsu. It is of no use at all. In other words, they cannot be selected for copying. Thinking of this, Orochimaru was thoughtful. After putting Xiao Hei back, he followed Danzo and left Gen's training room. Before leaving, I glanced at the pharmacist Nanoyu not far away. Yakushi no, you can get in touch. But not now. Now Nanoyu is too young and doesn't understand anything. So Orochimaru decided to let Danzo train for a while first. When the time comes, all I need to do is pick it up ready-made, and there is no need to work hard to cultivate it. Root Training Room. After Orochimaru left, the other ninjas looked at each other in confusion. They obviously didn't understand what Orochimaru was up to. After this guy finished the fight, he left without saying a word? What's the situation? However, although they could not figure out the situation, Orochimaru's strength still surprised them. Even excluding the Black Snake, he could still defeat 1 against 5? This was something they didn't expect at all. Of course, what I didn't expect was Nanoyu. She was still a little confused at this time, and she was confused and puzzled. This young man looks young, but why does he seem so strong? And you can go in and out freely without wearing a mask? It's wired. Orochimaru didn't know that much. After he left Gen, he returned to his house. It only took him a night to think it through. I can't wait any longer. Even if you spend a little more resources, you can't waste time. So, just find any ninja to clone. But this person cannot be from Konoha. Otherwise, if someone in the village sees him one day, it will be easy to get to the bottom of it. Thinking of this, Orochimaru arrived at the Hokage's office early the next morning. He needs to take on a mission to deal with wandering ninjas. His idea was to catch a stray ninja, strengthen his genes, and then start experimenting directly. However, after thinking about it for a while, he suddenly realized that if he accepted the mission, Jiraiya and Tsunade would also follow him. If they follow, how can they catch people on their own? It's hard to explain. Therefore, after much thought, he gave up the mission with Sarutobi Hiruzen and decided to fool Danzo. After staying in the laboratory for another 3 days, he came to the roots again. Cell transplantation technology is almost mature, I need a living subject as an experimental subject. After Danzo heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. Well, not bad. It just so happens that we captured a few wandering ninjas earlier. Go take a look. Orochimaru was speechless. If he had known this, why would he bother? In fact, Danzo has known about the big needs for a long time, so he has been preparing for this early in the morning. But in a ninja duel, how difficult is it to catch someone alive? Either you die or I die. And even if unfortunately he is caught, he will always look for opportunities to commit suicide. But Danzo is Danzo after all, and if he goes out in person, he can still catch a few alive. You know, not every ninja has the consciousness to die at any time. Originally, Orochimaru shouldn't have made it so troublesome for such a young man who could mass-produce. However, after all, it was the first time, Orochimaru thought it was better to be a little demanding. Danzo took Orochimaru to a dark corridor at the bottom of the route. At the end of the dark corridor was a wooden door. When the wooden door was opened, there were several cells inside. This is the confinement room where Gen's ninja made a mistake and was imprisoned. It's just that there is no other place to put these prisoners, so they are temporarily placed here. There were only 3 captured ninjas in total. They were all beaten to death and were lying inside weakly. And in order to prevent them from forming seals and using ninjutsu to escape, Danzo directly cut off their right hands. These 3 people have been captured for a long time. If you don't come again, they probably won't last long. Danzo said in a calm voice, as if he was describing a very common thing. Orochimaru took a look and saw that these 3 people were really miserable. Not only were they half dead, their right arms were cut off, but they also had shackles. Cut off if you can't form seals with one hand, for a ninja, it's basically equivalent to being semi-disabled. Is there no technique to seal chakra in this village? Orochimaru suddenly spoke. As long as the chakra is sealed, there is no need to cut off his right hand. Danzo said calmly, the village is not good at sealing techniques. Except for the Hyuga clan's soft fist, the others cannot seal the ninja chakra. Is that so? Orochimaru nodded, knowing that most of the sealing techniques belong to the Uzumaki clan. To do this kind of thing, it is naturally impossible for Danzo to go to Uzumaki Mito, and looked at the 3 people in the cell. Then what do they have? Ability. The man on the left is a power type, the middle-aged man in the middle is an illusion type, and the kid on the right can absorb chakra. Absorb chakra? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Is it the kind that absorbs the enemy's chakra and uses it for oneself? Good. Then it's him. Orochimaru made a decisive decision. Absorbing chakra for his own use is not a special ability. In the original novel, there are 2 people under Orochimaru who have this ability. One is called Red Copper Armor Dragon Set, and the other is 4 people named Jirobo. Apart from the 2 of them, there are also high-end ones, such as Kisame and Pain. However, although this ability is not rare, it is very practical. Especially in the early stage, when everyone has to be careful about their chakra. As long as you use it well, it will be enough to play some key roles. Danzo reminded Orochimaru, those strong ninjas in the past couldn't withstand the power of the first-generation Hokage's cells. I'm afraid this won't work. It doesn't matter, the first few times are all experiments anyway, it doesn't matter who you choose. Orochimaru said very casually. Tests are repeated tests. Naturally, it will not succeed once or twice. And this time it is cloning, not cell transplantation, so there is no need to consider physical issues. Of course, Danzo doesn't know now, so after hearing Orochimaru's words, he also thinks it makes sense. He can only order his subordinates to bring the man out. This is a young man about 20 years old, with fair skin and a handsome face. He was handsome. But he had been hungry for many days and lost a lot of blood after his arm was chopped off, so he looked a little sluggish. Orochimaru didn't care, anyway, all he wanted was his cells. An hour later, the young man was immobilized on the operating table of the secret experimental base. Danzo's men all retreated, leaving only Orochimaru himself and this young man. You, what do you want to do to me? Looking at the syringe in Orochimaru's hand, the young man said in horror. Hearing this, Orochimaru was a little surprised. You still have the strength to speak? Hee. Hateful, you Konoha ninjas must die a good death, you. Before he finished speaking, the syringe in Orochimaru's hand pricked the young man's artery. The young man fainted quickly. Inject an anesthetic before the experiment. This is the basic operation. After taking the anesthesia, Orochimaru gave him the genetic repair fluid to drink to restore his body to its best condition. Comatose person unable to swallow? This is not a problem. In this world, chakra is omnipotent, and it is not difficult to use chakra to guide you. After using the gene repair fluid, give him the genuine primary gene enhancement fluid to drink. 10 minutes later, Orochimaru pushed the operating table to the drainage outlet of the laboratory and washed him clean with water release. Then he pushed into the secret room that he had prepared long ago. This secret room is in the deepest part of the laboratory. It was Orochimaru who used Earth release to develop it himself in the past half-year, and Danzo didn't even know about it. It's not particularly big inside, but it's well equipped and has 3 glass experimental cabins. In other words, Orochimaru can create 3 clones at one time. To create clones, Konoha's current experimental equipment is definitely not good enough. He uses a system. Insufficient power in the wild? It doesn't exist. The system has a shopping mall, which contains a lot of black technology. Getting a silent generator is not difficult at all. Everything's ready. The next step is to brainwash, clear memories, implant memories, and add skills. Orochimaru has already thought about it, and the clone's ability cannot be too strong. At least you can't be better than yourself, otherwise you won't be able to control if something goes wrong. Primary genetic enhancement, diluted first-generation Hokage cells, plus a pair of 3 Megatama Sharingan eyes. Finally, coupled with his own ability to absorb chakra, it was completely enough. The diluted first-generation Hokage cells are actually useless. They can neither release wood release nor recover quickly. It is only used to accelerate growth when cultivating clones. With the primary strengthening in this cell, it is enough to withstand the power of the 3 Megatama Sharingan. This is what Orochimaru had planned for a long time. Orochimaru is doing experiments, and Sarutobi Hiruzen is also looking for 2 rare medicinal materials to strengthen the liquid. Unfortunately, Orochimaru took these 2 medicinal materials from the system. How could he find them? After a year of searching with no results, they returned without success. Time passes day by day. At the beginning of Konoha 25, Orochimaru and 3 of them were promoted to Jonin. However, Orochimaru's first batch of clones all failed. The reason for the failure was that the first-generation Hokage's cell power was not well controlled. At the beginning of Konoha 26, Jiraiya received a prophecy from Toad Sage and began to search for the legendary Son of Prophecy. As for Orochimaru, the clone was successful, but the memory implantation failed twice. At the beginning of Konoha 27, cloning was successful and memory implantation was successful, but Uchiha gene fusion failed and Sharingan awakening failed. Orochimaru's experiment lasted 4 years. At the beginning of Konoha 28, he finally created the first perfect clone. Of the 3 clones, only 1 succeeded, and all the others were ruthlessly abandoned and buried by him. This year, Orochimaru turns 18. Owner. In the secret room of the secret experimental base, Orochimaru finally breathed a sigh of relief when he looked at the young man kneeling in front of him. Although the cloning technology is the same as genes, after being thrown into the experimental cabin, it only needs to be checked regularly and the nutrient solution replaced. It is enough. But after experiencing so many failures, Orochimaru's mentality is still a bit broken. No need to call me master, just call me sir. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. The young man shouted humbly. The young man is 175 centimeters tall, his skin is a little pale, but his hands are sound, and his body is strong. His pupils and hair are black, and his clothes are a set of canvas civilian clothes that Orochimaru randomly found for him. If you don't look at that, his pale skin looks very similar to the Uchiha clansman. Seeing the young man's attitude, Orochimaru nodded with satisfaction. System, help me test it. Detecting, please wait. Physical condition is normal. Mood swings are normal. Normal heart rate. Memory implantation successful. Gene fusion successful. Loyalty 100%. Haha, 100% loyalty, no matter how far away you are, no matter what happens, you will never betray me, right? Yes, host. Ah, that's good. Orochimaru took out a scroll, channeled a money box, and handed it to the young man. Here is 10 million taels, take it. The young man took the money box respectfully without saying a word. Orochimaru continued. Originally, you shouldn't have a name, but for convenience, I'll give you a code name. Well, let's call you Yang. The shadow at night is perfect for you. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. Take the money, go to the location I selected in TNZ country, and help me build a laboratory. I will come to inspect it after 3 months. Yes. Yang accepted the order decisively and turned around and left the laboratory. It looked like he was going to rush all night. A clone? In fact, he is a clone. It is better to say that he is a modified person of the clone. Because under the control of Orochimaru, he already has most of his independent thinking. The only thing he is worse than a modified person is that his thinking is not flexible enough. However, this is enough. He has no problem at all with money to build a laboratory. After all, this is Orochi. A clone that Maru spent 4 years creating. As for whether he will have thinking problems in the future, Orochimaru is not worried about this. His own system is much more advanced than the artificial intelligence detection in those science fiction worlds. The system has been tested and there will be no problems, and there will definitely be no problems in the future. I took a look at my current technology. Current technology, Advanced Gene Enhancement Fluid. The next unlocked technology, Artificial Human Technology. Both skills are extensions of the previous technology. Advanced Genetic Enhancement Fluid is simple for Orochimaru, but it is still difficult to make artificial humans. However, Orochimaru is not anxious anymore. As long as the laboratory over there is built, his technology tree will soon be able to climb up. Get out! In the laboratory, looking at the bright moon in the sky, Orochimaru couldn't help but recall the scene a few years ago. After he obtained the cell backup data of the young man, in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, he deliberately performed it in front of Danzo. The operation failed. Needless to say, the final result was that the cells of the first Hokage directly killed the young man. It seems that I have become the kind of person I hated most before. Hee. Smiling helplessly, Orochimaru put his hands in his trouser pockets and walked towards the Leaf Village without any distractions. Guilt? It doesn't exist. They are just a few wandering ninjas, so just kill them. In Orochimaru's eyes, rather than living in such pain, it is better to die. Half a month later, on a deserted mountaintop outside Konoha village, a man with long black flowing hair was looking at a small sapling in front of him and thinking about something. After a while, he slowly raised his white hands. Snapped. The hands were clasped together. Would escape. The sapling grew rapidly and finally grew into a small tree. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes, stretched his right hand forward, and the space fluctuated. A long sword shining with silver light appeared in his hand. Aha! The long sword flicked. The small tree was cut into 2 pieces by a sword. Seeing this scene, Orochimaru, holding the Kusanagi sword, nodded thoughtfully. Sure enough, the quality of wood release is normal, but if you want to perform decent ninjutsu, you still need a wood release scroll. Yes, the man is Orochimaru who has been doing research. Because Orochimaru has made too many potions, and the advanced genetic enhancement liquid is an extended technology of the junior and intermediate enhancement liquids. Therefore, he only used a few. By half a month. After using the advanced strengthening fluid, his body was already in the most perfect condition. Coupled with the fused genes of the first generation Hokage, he now has a true immortal body. The immortal body is not weaker than the tail, the amount of chakra of the beast and the super recovery speed. The special wood escape is naturally indispensable. He even has an extra pair of Sharingan eyes than the first generation Hokage. Of course, although Orochimaru has a real sage body, but in terms of strength, he is still much worse than the first generation Hokage. Needless to say the reason. The gap between them is the decent wood release ninjutsu and senjutsu. Of course, it goes without saying that senjutsu, Ryoji Cave Orochimaru hasn't had time to find it yet. But it was only a matter of time before he found this place. So he did not consider senjutsu for the time being. As for ninjutsu, ninjutsu does not mean that if you have any chakra attributes, you will definitely be able to release this chakra attribute ninjutsu. If you want to acquire ninjutsu with this attribute, you either have to be taught by someone or you can develop it yourself. For Orochimaru himself, of course he prefers to develop it himself. However, he is not stupid. Before developing it, he naturally has to learn the ready-made wood escape ninjutsu first. Wood escape is the blood inheritance limit that combines the three attributes of Earth++. Because the yin and yang attributes are unique attributes, the wood escape that combines these three attributes is not counted as a blood stain elimination. Earth end forms wood, and the strength of this yang attribute is related to the power of your use of wood escape. Things like the four-pillar prison, the four-pillar family technique, etc. are all inferior wood escape. Orochimaru was not interested at all. What interests him most? Of course it is the original wood release ninjutsu of the first Hokage. Like wooden figures, wooden dragons, thousands of hands, a Buddha on top, etc. Any one of them can suppress the tailed beast. However, these wood escape techniques that can suppress tailed beasts all fall within the scope of senjutsu. Orochimaru had no choice but to learn ordinary wood escape ninjutsu first. For example, the birth of the tree world, all kinds of things in the forest, etc. He knew that these Mujutsu scrolls were in Danzo's hands. Therefore, he now needs to find Danzo again. Good afternoon. Hello, Orochimaru-sama. Good afternoon, Orochimaru-sama. Orochimaru put his hands in his trouser pockets and walked leisurely in the direction of Danzo. Many neighbors on the road were greeting him. Orochimaru nodded. There was no special reason for the villagers to greet him. Just because he is now the Jounin of the village. A Jounin has a very high status no matter which ninja village he is in. Therefore, if the neighbors who know Orochimaru greet him on the street, calling him sir is considered normal. When it comes to Jounin, I have to mention that if a ninja wants to be promoted to Jounin, in addition to having excellent strength, he also needs to complete a certain number of high-level tasks. If the number of tasks is not enough, even if you are strong enough, you will not be able to advance. This paragraph during the time, Orochimaru completed a lot of tasks, but because he had to take care of his own laboratory, he only took time to go to other countries occasionally. Of course, even occasionally, he did not make less money. Whoosh whoosh. A Konoha Anbu's figure suddenly flashed from the roof next to Orochimaru. He jumped quickly towards the direction of the Hokage building. Seeing this scene, Orochimaru frowned. Leaving in such a hurry? Is there some emergency? Orochimaru stopped and looked towards the Hokage building. Sure enough, in less than 5 minutes, countless figures jumped out of the Hokage building. Not long after, one of the figures fell in front of Orochimaru. Lord Orochimaru, Lord Hokage is summoned. Orochimaru nodded slightly, and glanced at the other figures. Their destinations were all in the courtyards of other families and Jounin. It seems that there is really something important. Shaking his head, Orochimaru also without thinking, he turned around and walked towards the Hokage's office. Obviously, in this case, emergency orders are more important than learning wood release. Orochimaru. The slim and graceful Tsunade, who had already left, rushed out of the house with a serious look on her face. It seemed that she also realized the seriousness of the problem. Orochimaru said calmly, "Let's go, together." Konoha village, Hokage conference room. The long conference table was full of people. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat at the head with a serious expression. Below him were the heads of the major families, as well as many Jounin with some power. Pigs, deers, butterflies, dog walkers, bug players, people with cataracts and pink eye, Konoha's main combat forces are basically all here. Orochimaru and Tsunade were on the list, but Jiraiya was absent due to personal reasons. But this does not affect. Hokage-sama, is there something urgent that summons us in such a hurry? Yes, I haven't had such an emergency meeting in a long time. It looks like things are serious. Everyone whispered, speculating on the content of this meeting. Sarutobi Hiruzen said calmly, okay, since everyone is here, listen to me first. I just got the news that the Uzushiogakure village of Uzumaki country, which has always had a good relationship with Konoha, was reduced to ruins overnight. What do you think? What? How can it be? The third Hokage said something astonishing, leaving all the ninjas stunned. Has Uzumaki Hidden Village been destroyed? Konoha ninjas of this era are very familiar with the Uzumaki clan of Uzushio Hidden Village. After all, the wife of the first Hokage, Uzumaki Mito, is now they are all still in Konoha village. But destroying the village? Not just them, even Orochimaru, who had known that he would find out about this matter, felt a little surprised when he suddenly heard the news. You know, Uzushiogakure in the country of Uzumaki, the village is not in the country of fire, but on the island to the east of the country of fire. If someone wants to launch a surprise attack on them, the country of fire will have no time to rescue them. Under such environmental conditions, if other countries really have any attack on them, if they had attempted it, they should have been destroyed long ago. But why was it at this time? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes and subconsciously looked at the third Hokage. Is it because of the third Hokage? Uzumaki Hidden Village. The territory of the Uzumaki clan. Orochimaru was very impressed by this. After all, that is the village of Naruto's mother, the protagonist of the original work. Its location is in the Kingdom of Whirlpool, east of the Kingdom of Fire. The Kingdom of Whirlpool is small, but the sealing technique in the village is very powerful. As for how powerful it is, it would not be an exaggeration to say that the entire ninja world covets it. Of course Orochimaru felt that the Uzumaki clan was destroyed because of the third generation, but he did not think that it was the third generation of Hokage's doing. Rather, it is thought to be caused by the philosophy of the third Hokage. Maybe some people here will disagree with this statement. They will think that the destruction of Uzumaki Hidden Village is a conspiracy of Konoha, or that Konoha village may also be involved. The reason is that they are also afraid of the sealing technique of the Whirlpool clan. But Orochimaru feels that this statement can only be said to be nonsense. Let's not talk about whether Uzushio Hidden Village can threaten Konoha with just one sealing technique. Just talking about the relationship between the two villages, Konoha cannot do this. You know, with the relationship between the two villages, does Konoha want any sealing technique? As long as it is a sealing technique that can be used by ordinary ninjas, the Uzumaki clan has never been stingy. What reason does Konoha have to cut off an arm to destroy the Uzumaki that is closely related to itself? Besides, Uzumaki Mito is still in Konoha. With her here, who would dare to touch Konoha? As for the threat of combat effectiveness, that is even more nonsense. The sealing technique is awesome, but when it comes to a real team fight, will the number of people in Uzumaki be enough to fill Konoha's teeth? Therefore, the destruction of Uzumaki Hidden Village has nothing to do with Konoha, or not directly. Ultimately, it's still the third Hokage's problem. The sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan is coveted by the entire ninja world. This is a secret that everyone knows. When the first Hokage was around, other countries did not dare to touch him because of his great strength. As soon as the first Hokage died, the war broke out immediately. The first one was the Kumo ninja who liked to study secret arts. However, the second generation Hokage is also very strong. When Yun Ninja Village made a move, he directly fought back. If other countries know about it, he, the second Hokage, will not be easy to mess with. But once the second Hokage died, the third Hokage took over. His idea of peace has made other countries ready to take action again. There is nothing wrong with the concept of peace itself, but it also has issues with its times. In this turbulent era of the ninja world, you advocate peace? If someone bullies you, why don't you fight back? Even a smile? As time goes by, who can hold back? If a person is too honest and tolerant, no matter how strong you are, you will still be bullied. Just like at the end of the original Kana Bridge battle, Konoha admitted Iwagakure's activities and gave up compensation for Iwagakure. Danzo said at the time that he could not agree to such a treaty, as it would be like losing the war. But Sarutobi disagreed, feeling that Muchi was badly hurt and could no longer suffer losses, so this was a strategic concession. As a result, the Kumo ninjas' offensive became even more fierce, and Kirigakure joined the war unwillingly. Although Konoha won the battle with strength in the end, Konoha suffered heavy losses because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's decision. After the war, knowing that he was in the wrong, he was forced to abdicate by Danzo. The same is true now. It has been many years since the end of World War I. The third generation's concept of peace has made other countries feel that Konoha is easy to bully. Therefore, they acted without any scruples and first wiped out Konoha's ally, the Uzumaki clan. Anyway, the first and second generations of Hokage are no longer here, and you, the third generation, insist on peace, so it's hard to fight back. The sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan is so awesome, how can they do it without stealing it? As a result, the Uzumaki clan was exterminated in frustration. This meeting was very serious, and everyone was discussing how to deal with this issue. It is definitely too late for rescue now, but we must not tolerate this matter. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a serious expression. He seemed to realize something and decided to investigate the matter thoroughly. Must investigate clearly. Yes, we cannot let the murderer go unpunished. No matter what, we must give justice to the Whirlpool clan. Hokage-sama, give the order. The Uzumaki clan was destroyed, and Sarutobi Hiruzen finally became angry. All the major families asked for a fight, and finally decided to let these families form several jounin teams to investigate the forces that had taken action first. And then decide what to do with it. Orochimaru, Tsunade, just the two of you first, I will find a way to inform Jiraiya. After the others left, the third Hokage said to Orochimaru and the others. Good. Orochimaru nodded. This time, they are also one of these investigation teams. But there are only two of him and Tsunade. Let's go, Tsunade, we'll meet at the entrance of the village in half an hour. This guy Jiraiya said he was going to look for the son of some prophecy. He has been out for 2 years and there is no news at all. Could something happen? Tsunade said with some worry as she was running. The three of them have been teammates for so many years. If Jiraiya died outside, it would always be an uncomfortable thing. Don't worry, this guy won't die. Orochimaru said casually. As for Jiraiya, Orochimaru is not worried at all. Because this guy is not the kind of short-lived person in reality or in memory. What Orochimaru cares about most now is that World War II seems to be about to begin. Although he has been in this world for so many years, Orochimaru has long been accustomed to relying on his own judgment to judge situations. But for some major events, he still couldn't help but refer to his memory. But this just flashed through his mind. Thoughts, Orochimaru is too lazy to think about it anymore. Because now his strength is completely enough, war? For him, it is just a more advanced trial. After Orochimaru and Tsunade left Konoha in the evening of that day, a little girl with red hair was secretly brought to the entrance of Konoha village by an ANBU. Seeing this strange village, the little girl was a little scared, but the ANBU beside her didn't care about it and held her hand slowly. Heading towards the Hokage's office. Hokage-sama, my subordinates have limited abilities and can only save this little girl with a special constitution. Anbu half knelt in front of the third Hokage and said respectfully. The third Hokage narrowed his eyes. Did you only save this one? Yes, the situation at that time was so chaotic that my subordinates were really powerless. Anbu is a little ashamed. Well, I don't blame you for this matter. Take her down and let her get in touch with Mr. Mito first. Yes. The Uzumaki clan are descendants of Ashura and distant relatives of the Senju clan. He has a deep connection with the Senju clan. They have tenacious vitality, huge amounts of chakra, and are powerful enough to suppress tailed beasts. They are vital to Konoha, so it is normal for Konoha to send people to secretly protect them. Uzumaki Kushina, the mother of the original Uzumaki Naruto, witnessed the destruction of the Uzumaki clan with her own eyes. Because of her special constitution, Konoha paid special attention to her, which was why she was able to survive the night when the village was destroyed. As for Konoha, for them, Kushina was originally a candidate for the second Jinhyuriki, so after this accident, they brought her back directly. A Jinhyuriki is a person possessed by a tailed beast or its chakra, and exists as a container that seals the tailed beast or its chakra. She is a top secret in the village. No one knows that she is a Jinhyuriki except for the top management of Konoha and individual Anbu who are performing tasks. Even the Sunin don't know. But now, Konoha village has no secrets in front of Orochimaru. Quick, quick, quick retreat. Ha ha ha, don't worry, don't worry. Yes, yes, the resources of this village are so good, even if it is just following the big country, it can still get a lot of advantages. Damn it, Konoha's reinforcements are almost here, and if they don't leave, it'll be too late. What? Konoha reinforcements? Withdraw. Whoosh whoosh. Countless figures jumped out from the village wall of Ozushiagakuer. They did not stop after coming out, and quickly ran towards the east pier of Uzumaki country. At the same time, the west pier of Uzumaki country. The three large ships quickly approached the direction of the Uzumaki country. The ones dispatched this time were all Konoha Jonin, a total of 24. Most of them were those who participated in the Chunin examination with Orochimaru. However, Hitaki Sakumo did not come, but the Uchiha family sent Uchiha Retsu. Lord Orochimaru, there seem to be many ninjas from other countries on the island. Narapusha said calmly. Although he is also a Jonin now, he has a deep memory of Orochimaru. A team of 3 people tortured the entire Death Forest, and he couldn't forget it even if he wanted to. So when he acted with Orochimaru, even he politely calls him Orochimaru-sama. Yet, Orochimaru didn't care. He took the monocular telescope from Nara's tree next to him and looked in the direction of the country of Whirlpool. He immediately saw several ninjas watching the wind. It feels like there are really quite a few. What should we do? Do you even need to ask? Orochimaru said calmly. Everyone abandons the ship and runs over. As long as they are ninjas, their forward protectors are not from Ozushiagakuer. Leave no one behind. Good. Narapusha replied decisively, and at the same time shouted, everyone, abandon the ship and attack the enemy. Yes. Learn. Swish, swish, swish. More than 20 Jounin transiting locusts who had received the order jumped off the ship at great speed. They gathered chakra at the soles of their feet, stepped on the sea, and quickly headed towards the land of Whirlpool country. Run away! Orochimaru and Tsunade also jumped. Orochimaru, do you really want to leave no one behind? Haha, do you still have mercy in the face of intruders? Orochimaru couldn't help but laugh. The current Tsunade has never really participated in a war except the time she was brought to the battlefield by Hiruzen Sarutobi. In addition, she was seriously affected by Hiruzen Sarutobi, so she heard that Orochimaru couldn't bear this order. However, her intolerance did not last long, because the Konoha Jonin who landed had already fought with the enemy. Damn it, Konoha guy, why did he come so fast? Don't worry so much, stop them and buy time for Kaioshin. Go to hell, Konoha ninjas. Watch out. Earth escape. Rock burst. Humph, I don't know whether to live or die. Uchiha Retsu snorted, jumped a few times to avoid the opponent's ninjutsu, and after getting close to him, he drew his sword and struck. Ding ding! The enemy reacted quickly and blocked these two fatal swords. This time, all Konoha's enemies were attacking ninja, but the strength of those sent by the enemy to perform such tasks will naturally not be low. Therefore, such a thing as killing with one blow basically does not exist. But then again, the ninjas of Konoha are indeed better than other villages. Too strong. Especially the jounin who came here this time, most of them are from big families. The blood inheritance limits and secret techniques alone can put other ninja villages in the dust. Coupled with the advantage of numbers, the battle will soon unfold a one-sided situation. Orochimaru walked leisurely on this small battlefield. It's now. Go to hell. An enemy saw Orochimaru's back to him and took the opportunity to throw 2 shurikens at him. Whoosh! Orochimaru took 2 steps to the side without even looking. 2 shurikens were just right. Hit the air. Averted. Seeing this scene, the enemy was stunned. Does this guy have eyes in his back? But before he could think about it, he realized something was wrong. He can't make seals? Looking carefully, a black python as thick as an arm had wrapped itself around his arm. The black python's muscle strength was so amazing that he couldn't break free at all. Orochimaru, who dodged the attack, turned around slowly, then walked up to him in a hurry, and glanced at his forehead protector lightly. IWA Ninja Village? No, you are not ninjas from IWA Ninja Village. Tell me, which village are you from? Damn it, why do you say we are not from IWA Ninja Village? The ninja who was entangled by Xiao Hei was a little dissatisfied. His forehead protector, uniform, and ninjutsu, none of them are from the IWA Ninja Village? Why does this kid say this? Orochimaru smiled faintly, with a hint of playfulness in the corner of his mouth. IWA Ninja Village geology, the ninjas raised are not as thin as you, and even if there are 1 or 2 occasionally, their skin is not as white as yours. Varied, what? Hearing this, he was stunned. Is it so easy to see the flaws in his disguise? Orochimaru continued. Which small country should you be from? He didn't dare to offend Konoha, but he couldn't restrain his greed, so he put the blame on IWA Ninja Village. You guy, this ninja was completely surprised. Who is this guy? Just by looking at it, you guessed their plan? However, he had no chance to know because Xiao Hei had bitten his neck at some point. He has completely fallen into Orochimaru's control. Yamanaka Yaniki, I leave this guy to you. Yes. Don't even think about it. Whoosh! 2 kunao with detonating talismans flew towards Orochimaru at an extremely fast speed. Orochimaru's eyes flashed, and he quickly took a step back. Boom! This IWA ninja directly killed by bombing. The explosion not only killed IWA ninja, but also blew Xiao Hei back. Damn it, what a shame! Yamanaka Hikoichi, who rushed over, said with some regret. Yamanaka Hikoichi is a teammate of Nara Hackberry. The Yamanaka clan is good at mind control and mental invasion. They major in spiritual power and have the ability to read the enemy's memory. This ability, it is very useful for obtaining enemy intelligence on the battlefield. So Orochimaru captured a living person for him in an attempt to explore the opponent's situation. It's a pity. Or do you still lack experience? Seeing the IWA ninja who was killed by the explosion, Orochimaru couldn't help but narrowed his eyes. Although he is very strong now, battlefield experience is also very important. Due to the crushing of his own combat power just now, he really didn't expect that there would be another one. An enemy noticed the situation on his side and chose this way of dying together? Never mind. After taking a look at the 2 jounin who escaped and the intact Konoha people, Orochimaru said calmly, follow the previous formation and clear it out. If you encounter an invincible enemy, remember to send a signal to your teammates. Good. Shingo, Raiwichi, and Huangmaru, let's go. Woof. Yanyi, Kangzuo, let's go this way. Our team goes this way. Keep up. The ninjas of Konoha left one person to guard the pier, and the others divided into groups of 3 and quickly moved towards the Uzumaki hidden village. Orochimaru and Tsunade worked in pairs and quickly pushed forward. But obviously, the support did come a little late. Except for the ninjas who were watching the wind just now, we didn't encounter many enemies on the road. The country of Whirlpool, the hidden village of Whirlpool. After the war, the village lost its peace and tranquility, and was replaced by devastation and destroyed walls. When Orochimaru and the other Konoha Jonin teams arrived, there was no one alive except for the cold and smelly corpses on the ground around the village. The intruder had already disappeared. This was not the first time Orochimaru saw such a scene, but seeing it again, he still felt a little shocked. War is accompanied by death. Even the destruction of a small village was accompanied by corpses everywhere. One can imagine wars elsewhere. Damn, unforgivable, absolutely unforgivable. Seeing such a scene, Tsunade tightened her fists, her heart filled with anger. At this time, she had already forgotten what kindness was, and just wanted to smash these intruders into pieces. Orochimaru said calmly, "Let's go, it's happened, it's useless no matter how upset you are." Where to go? Of course, if you search, there are no survivors, although the chance is very slim. After Orochimaru finished speaking, he ignored her and walked towards the village first. The common man is not guilty of harboring the treasure. If the Uzumaki clan did not have these sealing techniques, they might not be targeted by other village ninjas. Unfortunately, in reality, there is no such thing. If they were wiped out the village, they would have become. Seeing Orochimaru walking away, Tsunade quickly followed him. The Konoha ninjas who came to support this time were all wearing Konoha uniforms and jounin vests, and their forehead protectors were naturally worn as standard. Forehead. At this time, the jounin of other families were also searching for survivors, and some were cleaning the battlefield. Orochimaru knew that there were several survivors of the Uzumaki clan this time, including Nagato's parents, Xiang Phosphorus's mother. As long as I find anyone at random, I will make a lot of money. But obviously, the ninjas who attacked them this time acted very quickly and dispersed these survivors long ago. Even if there are other survivors, I don't know where they were driven away. Went. What's this? The history of the Whirlpool clan. The two came to the secret ancestral hall of the Uzumaki clan. Looking at the words engraved on the wall in front of them, Tsunade couldn't help but be stunned. Orochimaru also glanced at it. The sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan is indeed unique. No matter how powerful you are, as long as you are attacked, you can only be slaughtered. Yes, if it weren't for being too unique, it wouldn't be. Tsunade didn't say any more. Let's go, there is no breath of life here, let's go out and take a look. There is water on the ground. Judging from the dryness of other places around the village, it should not have rained in the past few days. On a hill 1 kilometer away from Uzumaki hidden village. Orochimaru glanced at the surrounding situation and said lightly. Is Kirigakure village involved? Tsunade naturally understood what Orochimaru meant. Maybe. Could it be that they were framed by those guys just now? Orochimaru looked ahead without looking back. Impossible. Those ninjas just now seemed to be just here to pick up bargains, and they probably didn't participate in the massacre of the village. And, look at the front. Tsunade heard the sound and went out. There was a forest ahead. It was already a mess. The geology showed obvious signs of being changed. The ordinary small trees were cut off by lazy wastes, and the surrounding big trees were all covered with scratches. Asshole! Tsunade shouted angrily and punched a boulder next to her. Bang! The boulder next to her was shattered by her punch. Why? Why are several major villages participating? Tsunade was furious. Orochimaru smiled and said nothing. No matter in which world, the only thing that can temporarily unite the originally discordant forces is interests. The conflicts between the 5 major countries have been around for a long time, and Uzumaki Mito is the first jinhuriki in the ninja world. In the battle between the 5 major countries, she also contributed a lot to the first Hokage. After other countries have seen the power of the Uzumaki Mito Nine Tails mode, how could they not have any ideas? However, there the ability of the sealing technique is limited, and there is no ability to create jinhuriki. Now that we finally have the opportunity, everyone who can participate naturally participates. In the final analysis, the deterrent power of the 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is not enough. If he is a little stronger, this won't happen. Whoosh! Several figures of Konoha Jounin appeared in front of Orochimaru. Orochimaru-sama, how is the situation here? Did you find anything? It should be similar to yours. Okay, let's exchange information. According to the on-site investigation, the situation has been basically confirmed. Sand Ninja, IWA Ninja, Mist Ninja, and Cloud Ninja all seem to be involved. Those just now should be just unknown ninjas from small countries. If you have any other findings, you can add them. Replenish? What a fart to add! These 4 major ninja villages alone are enough to give Konoha a headache. What if we add in some of the surrounding small countries? Konoha wants to seek justice for the Uzumaki clan? Unless the first Hokage is reborn. I have nothing to add, just report this information to Hokage-sama. Well, okay, then let's split up and you continue to look for possible survivors. We'll deal with the bodies first and report the situation to Lord Hokage. Kin. Orochimaru nodded and agreed with what the Jonin said. Several Konoha Jonin left, leaving Orochimaru and Tsunade alone. Tsunade, let's go. Tsunade quickly followed up. Orochimaru, do you think this kind of thing is really inevitable? For now, that is indeed the case. You must have a solution, right? Why do you say that? Orochimaru was a little surprised. Grandma told me that your dream is world peace. With your talent, you should have figured out a way over the years. Haha, I'm just talking about my childhood dream. How is it possible, you are lying? Believe or not. Orochimaru and Tsunade chatted all the way, looking for survivors. But the result was nothing but success. This was a premeditated surprise attack. It was already a miracle that he could escape from the Kingdom of Whirlpool from this surprise attack. Want to find survivors in the Kingdom of Whirlpool? It's simply not possible. Now Orochimaru also understands why the original Orochimaru has so many die-hard fans. In the era of war, many people were homeless. Orochimaru rescued them in the troubled times and brought them back to the Oto Ninja village. Gave them a place to settle down. Even if Orochimaru's original intention was to study their bloodline, to them, they were definitely reborn parents. Faced with such a reborn parent, it is understandable that they are willing to sacrifice their lives. Orochimaru shook his head, and after searching for a few days in the country of Whirlpool to no avail, he returned to Konoha with Tsunade. In Konoha village, the 3rd Hokage knew about the situation in the country of Whirlpool, and it was really a big deal. In the past, when the first Hokage was around, none of the other villages dared to move. When the second Hokage was around, only the Cloud Ninja village dared to come out and jump around, but in the end, the second Hokage pushed him back. Now it's his turn. Even the kingdom of Uzumaki, which has been friendly with Konoha for generations, can't be saved. Where does this put his face? It's simply a provocation. Sarutobi, it's time for other villages to see the power of Konoha. In the Hokage conference room, Danzo said with a serious expression. Every family and every force can be said to be divided into 2 factions. One is the Hawk faction and the other is the Dove faction. In Konoha, Sarutobi is the representative of the Dove faction, and Danzo is the representative of the Dove faction. Zhang is the representative of the Hawks. Now that these bastards have destroyed the Uzumaki hidden village and snatched the Uzumaki clan's sealing technique, it is clear that Konoha does not take them seriously. If some measures are not taken, other villages will think that they are useless. Yet is easy to bully. After hearing what Danzo said, Sarutobi thought for a moment. Now, there are so many villages involved in this matter, so let's negotiate first. And now that Mito-sama is about to expire, he has lost this powerful force, so it is not appropriate for the village to go to war for the time being. Sarutobi, what are you afraid of? Danzo said with hatred. Although Mito-sama is indeed about to live for a long time, do you think their country can control the tailed beasts now? With our Konoha's fighting power, there is no need to be so cautious. Whichever country takes action first can just go to war with them. If we negotiate with them first and then fight when they are ready, Konoha will face greater losses. Don't start a war easily. Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly. Every ninja is a valuable asset to the village. Starting a war rashly will not only cause a lot of sacrifices, but the people of the fire country will also live in dire straits. My suggestion is to negotiate with other countries first. If we can't reach an agreement, we can then discuss the issue of war. Well, I agree with Sarutobi. This method is indeed more reliable. Xiaoharu and Mito Minion moved to bed and spoke. Them. Danzo gritted his teeth and wanted to say something more, but when he opened his mouth, nothing came out. There is no way, because he is only an elder, and he only has the right to speak, not decide, on major matters in Konoha. Now that the other three have said so, it would be redundant for him to say anything else. However, seeing how weak Sarutobi was at this time, he began to question the decision of the second Hokage. Obviously his philosophy is the most consistent with that of the second Hokage. Why did the second Hokage let Sarutobi succeed him as Hokage? Why? Our group is dissatisfied every day. What a bastard! Bang! In Gen's headquarters room, Danzo's crutch suddenly poked the ground, causing a small area of the ground to crack. It can be seen that he is feeling unhappy all over his body now. Even though he has a lot of power now, Konoha there are 3 elders. He alone cannot make any difference at all. What made you so angry? A slightly smiling voice suddenly came from outside the door, and then the figure with flowing long hair appeared in his sight. Humph, who else could it be besides Sarutobi? Danzo was not surprised at all by Orochimaru's arrival. Because in the whole route, only Orochimaru dared to talk to him like this. Haha, I knew it. Orochimaru shrugged and didn't say much. He knew that the gap between Danzo and Sarutobi was getting bigger and bigger, and Danzo often expressed his dissatisfaction with Sarutobi in front of him. He was used to this kind of complaint. Orochimaru, why did you come to my place today? I remember that you seem to have the first Hokage's wood release ninjutsu scroll here. Orochimaru was straightforward, without any cover-up. Because the fact that Danzo had the wooden release scroll was not something Orochimaru guessed, but Danzo himself told Orochimaru. After all, Orochimaru is doing research for him now. Every time he went to Orochimaru, what he talked about the most was wooden release and Sharingan. When talking about the first Hokage, it was inevitable to talk about these issues. Hearing this, Danzo narrowed his eyes. Why are you mentioning this all of a sudden? I have encountered some problems in my research recently. I would like to take a look at the wood release ninjutsu scroll, maybe I can find a solution. Yet? Danzo said calmly. Although I don't know what the wood release ninjutsu scroll has to do with your research, but you can read it if you want. After saying that, he took out 2 scrolls directly from his arms and threw them towards Orochimaru without hesitation. Anyway, for him, he would be able to satisfy Orochimaru's requirements as much as possible. Because Orochimaru it did bring him many scientific research projects. Of course, the most important point is that the first Hokage's wood escape ninjutsu scroll does not have wood attribute chakra, so it is of no use. So he is not worried about Orochimaru at all. What could possibly happen? At this time, he had no idea that Orochimaru's power had reached an astonishing level. Orochimaru steadily took the 2 scrolls thrown by Danzo and said calmly, "I'll take it back and study it tomorrow evening. I'll bring it to you later. Don't lose it." "Will not." Orochimaru continued, "By the way, is Nunoyu here?" "Nanoyu?" Danzo narrowed his eyes. "As a ninja, you shouldn't have extra emotions." "Orochimaru, are you interested in an 8 or 9-year-old girl?" "Haha, where did Danzo-sama go?" Orochimaru said with some surprise, "I'm just doing experiments alone. I'm a little too busy and I just want to find a helper." "I see." Danzo said solemnly, "This is best. An outstanding ninja should not be bound by emotions. You are a good young man. Don't go astray." Hearing Danzo's words, Orochimaru was speechless for a moment. He knew that this was how Danzo trained his roots. As a root ninja, he should have no name, no future, no emotions, and only tasks in his eyes. Emotions are a burden and a stumbling block on the road to success. But how can having feelings be a wrong path? Orochimaru smiled lightly. "Don't worry, sir, I always put research first." "That's good, don't be like Sarutobi now, indecisive, and not worthy of being the Hokage at all." Well, as he spoke, Danzo got involved with Sarutobi again. At this time, he was like a resentful woman, wishing that Sarutobi would abdicate now and become the Hokage himself. Because only he understands that what is it like to have ambitions but no stage performance? Where is Nanoyu now? Orochimaru is too lazy to talk nonsense to him. She should be in the accommodation area, but this girl learned disguise skills very quickly, has a clear mind, and is very calm in situations. She is more suitable to be a spy than to be your assistant. "It doesn't matter, I'll teach her some basic things first, and I'll just go and help her out when I have time." "Is that so, also? By the way, Orochimaru." Danzo stopped Orochimaru, who was about to leave. "Besides the coexistence of mental power and first-generation cells, is there any other way?" "Of course there is, but it's not suitable for adults," Orochimaru said without looking back. "So what is your current success rate with this method?" "The technology is already mature and the success rate is about 100%. 100% success rate? How confident do you have to be for Orochimaru to dare to say this?" Well, in fact, Danzo has already known that this technique is already proficient, but he just wants to use this technique on himself. Even he would not dare to try such a dangerous thing without full courage. Of course, the most important point is that now he does not have the Sharingan. The Sharingan is the blood inheritance limit of the Uchiha clan, and it is also the spiritual power that can suppress the wood escape cells. The Uchiha clan is now considered a big family in Konoha. No matter how awesome Danzo is, he doesn't dare to steal their eyes openly now. Therefore, Danzo is still in a state where he does not even have a Sharingan. Although the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan is also possible, it is more difficult to capture the Byakugan, and only the Byakugan of the clan can be used. Coupled with the importance of the Hyuga clan's reconnaissance capabilities to Konoha, it is naturally impossible for him, Danzo, to take advantage of the Hyuga clan's ideas. Besides, for him who has read the sealed book, Izanaga's attraction is much stronger than Byakugan's clairvoyance ability. 100%? Forget it, go ahead and let me know when I have news. Danzo waved his hand and began to greet the guests. Orochimaru smiled, turned, and left. He would not tell Danzo that he could use Uchiha's genes to help ordinary people awaken the Sharingan. Although after these genes are fused, they will be useful to him, it will no longer have any effect. But as long as you use this method and use the fusion fluid, you can awaken a large number of Sharingan. Or, let a person awaken the Sharingan and then use the technique to copy it, you can still get the same result without using it. Complete Sharingan. Ordinary Sharingan is a rarity for others, but for Orochimaru, it really is as much as you want. Roots, employees, ninja accommodation area. There are also male and female ninjas in Gen, so the accommodation areas are still separate. It's just that it's still early and Orochimaru can come and go freely. You are so weak. You still have 200 push UPS. If you can't finish them, you won't be allowed to sleep tonight. Yes, yes. Lan, isn't this good? What's wrong? If you want to become a formal member of the Roots, you must not be like those brats outside. I'm doing this for her own good. That's what I say, but there's nothing wrong with it. If you pity her, just do it for her. Orochimaru overheard such a conversation before he even reached the place. Then, he saw the little girl wearing glasses struggling to do physical training in the room. The sweat on her forehead had already soaked into her brown hair. Beside her, there were two other female ninjas sitting. One of them was fully armed and wearing a mask, and the other one had a scar on his face and was looking at the little girl coldly. The one wearing the mask, when people saw Orochimaru's appearance, they quickly stood up from the bed with a respectful look on their face. Lord Orochimaru. The scarred woman quickly stood up when she heard the words Orochimaru. Lord Orochimaru. Orochimaru ignored them and looked at Nanoyu. Is this what happened? This. Forget it, Nanoyu, come with me. Well? Nanoyu was stunned for a moment, then looked at the scar girl. The scar girl said coldly, Master Orochimaru asked you to go, didn't you hear? Yes, yes. Nanoyu stood up with a look of grievance and hurriedly walked to Orochimaru. She was a little curious about why Orochimaru suddenly came to her, but she didn't dare to ask, so she could only follow him silently. You know, in the route, Orochimaru's command is second only to Danzo, and his combat power is unfathomable. Haven't you seen the scar girl who often bullies you? Respect Orochimaru? In the route, only those with strong strength can get the respect of others. Nanoyu knew this very well. Therefore, she never dared to take the initiative to talk to Orochimaru. She could only do what Orochimaru said. The two left Gen's headquarters, and Orochimaru took her back, arriving at his house. Seeing this scene, Nanoyu became even more curious. What is he going to do? Sit down. After entering the living room, Orochimaru said casually. No, no need, Lord Orochimaru. I'll be fine just standing. Nanoyu said with some restraint. She is only 9 years old now. She has not been in contact with Orochimaru a few times. She couldn't guess what Orochimaru was thinking, which made her feel uneasy. Orochimaru said calmly, don't be so reserved. I have no other reason to come to you. I just heard that you are learning medical ninjutsu recently. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. How long have you been studying? More than 2 months. Just over 2 months? Orochimaru was thoughtful, then stood up and took a stack of information from the drawer next to him and handed it to her. Take this, take a look at it when you have time, and tell me when you can understand it. This is... Nanoyu flipped through it twice, feeling a little confused. Before she could react, Orochimaru handed over another potion. You take this too. When Nanoyu returned to Gen's accommodation area with a stack of information and a bottle of genetic repair fluid, the scarred woman could not help but frown. Restoration potion? Didn't you expect that you would be favored by Lord Orochimaru? Another female ninja was also a little surprised when she saw this scene. Unbelievable. You know, who is Orochimaru? He is the second in command who has a close relationship with Danzo-sama. Not only is he very close, but he is also very powerful. Being favored by him will definitely lead to a meteoric rise, and the future will be limitless. Why is Orochimaru said to be so powerful? Powerful? That's because during the previous period, Orochimaru would fight with Gen's ninjas from time to time. It was said to be a fight, but in fact they were 5 versus 1 every time, and they had not won yet. At first, Gen of the Jounin, 2 can be suppressed by sending out 2. Now, every time Orochimaru comes, the Jounin and below will not consider it. This makes the ninjas in the route admire Orochimaru. You know, that is 5 named Jounin. Even their Danzo-sama was probably at this level. Therefore, after Orochimaru was promoted to Jounin, they respectfully called him Sama. In fact, let alone the 2 female ninjas who lived with her. It was a bit unexpected, even Nanoyu herself was a little confused. Recovery potion, she knew, this thing is a luxury item in Konoha village, and you may not be able to buy it even if you have money. On the surface, Konoha only it sells for 60,000 taels, but some ninjas have raised the price to 200,000 taels in private transactions. That is 200,000 taels, which is enough for an ordinary family to spend for a year. But Orochimaru uses it as a meeting gift? And it still looks very casual. This is obviously showing goodwill to himself. In the route, there are many better ninjas than him, why would Orochimaru look for him? Yakushi Nanoyu is very puzzled. The birth of the tree world is coming, and everything is happening. On the other side, Orochimaru didn't think too much. Because now he has focused his attention on the wooden release scroll. He has sealed the entire house, and at the same time opened the Sharingan to tie the 2 wooden release scrolls. The sealing method and the releasing method are all recorded. Sharingan is good at this, photographic memory. 2 scrolls, a total of 4 ninjutsu. In addition to the 2 just now, there is also a wooden escape clone and a ninja with a very awkward name. Jutsu. Hokage-style ear-submitting Jutsu Kuroan's hand drop hand? Well, there is a word that even Orochimaru doesn't recognize. In short, it is a jutsu that can appear as a character in the palm of the hand, thereby suppressing the tailed beast. With these wood escape ninjutsu as a basis, it would be easy to develop other wood escapes. Thinking of this, Orochimaru closed his eyes with satisfaction. Cell transplantation is already proficient, but the raw materials are not allowed, so Danzo is still waiting for the opportunity. During this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was busy negotiating with other countries. Naturally, the other big countries will not recognize the matter of the Whirlpool country. You said I launched a surprise attack on the Kingdom of Whirlpool? Please provide evidence. If there is no evidence, you are just talking nonsense. What? Those battle marks? You Konoha people can also do earth escape ninjutsu. Why do you talk about my country of earth? Water escape ninjutsu? You people in Konoha can do it too. Why do you talk about me, the kingdom of water? Anyway, 1 or 2 will refuse to admit it to death, and there is nothing Konoha can do to me. No way? Then formally dissolve the peace treaty and declare hostility. As a result, relations between various countries immediately became tense because of Konoha's statement. It's just that no one launched an attack first. After all, war is not a child's play. Once a war starts, it will definitely be a river of blood. None of them dared to move unless absolutely necessary. As for the relationship between countries, Orochimaru doesn't care. Anyway, if you want to fight, I will fight. If you don't want to fight, I will do my own thing. The professional term is called stealing development. While others were making a fuss, he himself was growing rapidly. 3 months later, relations between the countries have become increasingly tense. Orochimaru found an opportunity and told Sarutobi Hiruzen that he wanted to leave Konoha alone. The reason is to find a special medicinal material. Originally, when relations between various countries were tense, Sarutobi Hiruzen would not allow Orochimaru to leave the village. However, Orochimaru promised him that if a war started, he would definitely come back as soon as possible. After thinking about it, Hiruzen Sarutobi finally had no choice but to agree. Orochimaru-sensei, do you really want to go out? In Orochimaru's house, Naoki looked disappointed as he looked at Orochimaru who was packing his luggage. Naoki is now 8 years old, and because of Tsunade, he had already worshipped Orochimaru as his wife when he was 6 years old. Master. Hearing that Orochimaru was leaving for a while, he immediately pulled his sister over and rushed over. Orochimaru said calmly, yes, but he should be back soon. That's it. You guy, can't you take me with you? I want to take the risk alone. Tsunade, dressed in casual clothes, sat on the bed next to her, also complaining. She had always thought that she was Orochimaru's woman. But this guy went out without him? Orochimaru explained, Jiraiya hasn't been here yet. Come back, if you leave with me, there will be no one available for the teacher. Okay, what you said makes sense. Tsunade waved her hand. Forget it, since you have already decided, I won't advise you, but if you all leave, I will be bored in the village alone. Isn't there a rope tree? Yes, sister, and me too. Hee. Seeing the cute look of Nezuki, Tsunade petted his head. An hour later, at the entrance of Konoha village, Orochimaru, who had no relatives and no friends, was about to leave Konoha for Tien country. The only person who came to see him off was the two Tsunade siblings. I have to say, they look a little desolate. But Orochimaru has long been used to it. He and Danzo only have a cooperative relationship, and Sarutobi is very busy right now, so he doesn't expect anyone else. Can you come and see him off? Orochimaru, be careful. Before leaving, Tsunade took the initiative and threw herself into Orochimaru's arms, looking reluctant to leave. Today Tsunade was wearing casual clothes, and Orochimaru could clearly feel her turbulent emotions. I know, but Tsunade, your growth rate is indeed a bit exaggerated. After hearing this, Tsunade not only did not feel shy, but proudly leaned into Orochimaru's ear and whispered. Hey, do you like it? Just give it a try. Hey, are you just doing it reluctantly? Haha, I won't tell you any more, I'm leaving. Breaking free from Tsunade's arms, Orochimaru turned around and left resolutely. He knew that this woman Tsunade was just talking. What if he really did something to her? She wouldn't be able to let go. Orochimaru wants to go to Tien country, and it goes without saying why. At the same time that Orochimaru went to the country of grass, a couple entered the country of grass. Both husband and wife were wearing black cloaks, stumbling along the way, looking extremely embarrassed. Old husband, let's take a break, okay? My tummy hurts. The woman was panting heavily and looked extremely embarrassed. If you look closely, you can see that she actually has a big belly under the cloak. Firm, hold on, this is the border of the country of grass, and it's not very safe. Let's cross this mountain and rest again. But I really hurt. The woman continued to pant. A pregnant woman, with a big belly about to give birth, had been on the run for so long. It was a miracle that she could survive without any problems. Seeing the woman's embarrassed look, the man gritted his teeth. Damn it, just wait there for a while I find a safe place. Good. After receiving the woman's reply, the man quickly ran towards the side path. The woman, on the other hand, was tiredly holding on to a boulder next to her. Soon the man ran back and helped the woman to sit down beside a boulder in the woods. This is in the woods. Coupled with the cover of the boulder, it should not be discovered by those ninjas. Husband, why don't we go to the land of fire instead of traveling a long way here? There was a hint of confusion in the woman's tired tone. You know, the fire country is the most powerful country in the ninja world. And they crossed the border of the country of fire and arrived at their current location. Hearing the woman's words, the man looked angrily. Fire country? Humph, if it weren't for the fire country's incompetence, why would we be here? The village was wiped out, so it's not entirely their fault. It's true that they can't be entirely blamed, but didn't you see it along the way? Nowadays, the ninja world is in turmoil and relations between countries are tense. The fire country itself cannot be saved. If we go to the fire country now, we will only die. So if we don't go to the land of fire, where can we go? Go to Yuyin village. The man said very decisively. Yuyin village. Yes, Lord Hanzo of Omegakure village is a demigod in the ninja world. He is very powerful and can definitely protect us. Well, husband, I listen to you. The woman nodded obediently. The two rested for a while and started on the road again. But they didn't notice that a white head popped up where they had just rested. Did you flee from other countries? It's really strange, and this woman obviously has huge chakra, but she is not a ninja? With doubts, the white head slowly dived into the ground and followed the man and woman. Half a day later. In that deep and dark underground chamber, I don't know how deep it is. In the dark environment, even underground creatures are rare, but in such a location, there is a huge hole. The void forms a large space. In this hollow, there are a few large lights swaying. It is obvious that there are ventilation holes in this hollow. Otherwise, the candle wouldn't be able to swing from side to side. Through the dim candlelight, you can vaguely see a terrifying and huge existence in the space. The huge body is like a giant in ancient legends, but this giant exudes a strong evil aura from beginning to end, looking like a demon god. At the feet of this terrifying demon god, there is a seat, and sitting on the seat is an old man with a haggard appearance and an old face. On the old man's back, there are life belts like tree roots stuck to his back. Slowly, the old man raised his head, revealing his lavender corrugated eyes, and his dry voice was like the wind blowing from an old bellows. Absolutely, what's wrong? Hee, Madara. A white figure came out of the soil and said with a smile, guess what my clone saw up there? The old man didn't even raise his head and said calmly, don't show off. There is a pregnant woman from the Uzumaki clan who seems to be about to give birth. The Whirlpool clan? Pregnant woman? Uchiha Madara's eyes regained some sparkle. It was inconvenient to show up in front of them before, but I didn't expect them to come to the door themselves. Follow her. Don't worry, we've already locked them in. Hey, wait, they seem to be in trouble. Trouble? What's the trouble? The pregnant woman seemed to be about to give birth, and she happened to meet the ninja from the land of grass again. Yet? Humph, it seems that my luck is not very bad. Sometimes, fate just has so many coincidences. As a good friend of the first Hokage, Uchiha Madara naturally knew about the Uzumaki clan. It's just that he is only one person after all, and he is already old. If he wants to forcibly transplant his reincarnation eye into the children of the Uzumaki clan, it will be easily discovered by Konoha. Therefore, he could only find someone else. But in this world, how many people can withstand the power of the samsara eye? So he never found it. He was about to give up at first, but he didn't expect that God would still favor him so much. When he could only rely on the heretic demon to maintain his life, the Whirlpool clan was wiped out. And there is also a couple from the Uzumaki clan who are preparing to cross the country of grass to go to the Hidden Rain village. In this couple, the woman happens to be pregnant. This kind of thing is like tailor-made for him. On the other hand, Orochimaru had already guessed that something like this would happen, but he had no choice. After all, the world is such a big place, and finding Nagato's parents by himself would be as difficult as building an atomic bomb. He doesn't have that spare time. What's more, at this time, he had once again come to the war-torn country without a ninja village, the Kingdom of Tien. Although relations between various countries are now tense, Konoha does not seem to have any intention of declaring war on the Kingdom of Thunder. According to the intelligence, it seems that the Kingdom of Thunder has a large number of proofs that they did not participate in the destruction of villages, plus the alliance contract signed by the two after the previous battle. So the two countries can remain friendly for the time being? Orochimaru scoffed at the news. He knew that Yun Ninja Village liked to study the secret techniques of other villages. If other villages were not involved in the destruction of Uzushiagakuer, Orochimaru might still believe it, but Kumo Ninja Village? All he could do was haha. But it just so happened that if Konoha didn't go to war with the Kumo Ninja, Tien country would be safe. This would save Orochimaru a lot of trouble. Came to a mountain range. Surrounded by mountains and rivers, this is a good place for a vacation. But Orochimaru obviously wasn't in that mood. Whoosh! A figure in black attire flew out of nowhere and half knelt in front of Orochimaru. Lord Orochimaru. Yang, how did the lab go? Everything's ready. Well, take me in and take a look. Orochimaru nodded, ignored him, and walked directly inside. Here, at the foot of a large mountain, there are few people and the terrain is difficult, but the scenery is good. It was the seat Orochimaru chose in Tien country when he was on a previous mission. He converted the information about this location into memory and implanted it into the mind of the clone Ye Shadow. Then let him build an experimental base here. There are no ninjas in Tien country, and with Ye Ying's strength, no one can stop him. So, the laboratory was completed. Orochimaru walked in, and it was unusually empty. There were only some scientific research equipment that Ye Ying bought himself. How many experimental cabins are there in total? There are about 18 of them. 18? Orochimaru frowned. It's not enough, but it can only be used temporarily. As he said that, Orochimaru selected a few suitable locations and waved his hand. Dang, dang, dang! Countless scientific research equipment appeared out of thin air. Whether it was a DNA scanner, a computer, a generator, an experimental bench, etc. Everything. He has all kinds of scientific research equipment. These are the things in his system, and some of them are brought from the secret room outside Konoha village. These equipments, no matter which laboratory in Konoha, he cannot take out. Come here at this time. When he got here, he was unscrupulous. The only flaw was that no one else came to help him except this clone. Speaking of clones, we have to talk about the thinking of clones. Generally, clones produced in batches have a lot of thoughts in their minds. They all only have a very simple set of specifications. Except for fighting, their thinking is relatively slow and they have no awareness of independent thinking. But the one Orochimaru made undoubtedly has more independent thinking capabilities. This is also the reason why he can build a laboratory on his own. Some people here may say that clones who can think independently are flawed because they have the judgment ability of normal people. They have 7 emotions and 6 desires and will not obey their masters absolutely. Just like Denzo's subordinates, no matter what, no matter how you brainwash them, they will still rebel if they should rebel. But Orochimaru is different. His brainwashing directly deletes the memory and forcibly implants another set of memories into the clone's mind. It makes the clone feel that Orochimaru is his food, clothing, and parents, and the reason for his existence is to complete the tasks issued by Orochimaru. For Orochimaru, he would rather give his own life. Just like Kimimaro, Gurren, and Yakushi Kabuto in the original work. Not only are they willing to become Orochimaru's container, but they also often compete with each other for this position. So Orochimaru is not afraid of his rebellion. But, clones are clones after all. If they have their own independent thinking, they will see so many people following him in the future. When people like him appear, it is inevitable that he will have special emotions. Therefore, if Orochimaru wants to continue cloning, there are only 2 ways. One is to erase Ye Ying's ability to think independently, and the other is to choose a new person for cloning. Orochimaru has no time to arrest people now, so he can only choose to temporarily obliterate Ye Ying's ability to think independently. Anyway, he already has a technical backup for this thing. If he wants to restore his thinking, it will just waste a few more days. 18 experimental cabins are obviously not enough, but the money given to Ye Ying is limited, and a lot of other equipment has been purchased, so Orochimaru can't care about that much. First, cultivate the cells of 18 clones, and then go buy the remaining experimental cabins. As long as the number of people increases, it will be much easier to do things. Thinking of this, Orochimaru started his work directly. Soon after half a year, Orochimaru's first batch of clones was released. Because with the first technical information, failure generally does not exist. After all, it is a high-tech computer operation. 18 people, including Yang himself, a total of 19 people. They are all black hair, black eyes. And the number of experimental cabins has also been increased to 100. 100 experimental cabins are already the limit for the scale of this experimental base. In other words, from now on, this experimental base can produce 100 people in half a year, and the maximum production is 100 people. This speed is not fast, but it is not slow either. Orochimaru was not in a hurry and began to let the first batch of 19 clones help him with assembly line work. Observe, record, clean, alert. It is enough to leave 9 people to take care of the experimental base. The others can take this. Looking at the 19 black-clothed and black-haired clones in front of him, Orochimaru issued his order. The 9 people left, and the remaining 10 people each carried a strange device on their backs, mineral detectors. Yes. In addition to researching human cloning, he also needs to mine. In terms of genes, the current stage is artificial human technology, and the next stage is cell regeneration. Needless to say, artificial humans are more advanced than clones and are truly independent individuals. As for cell regeneration, Orochimaru has also been exposed to it before, such as genetic repair fluids and the like. This technique is just an extension of the previous technique. It is estimated that after the research is successful, it will be similar to Tsunade's creative regeneration. It's just that these two techniques are too difficult. It would take a long time to test. So Orochimaru temporarily stopped the research and development of genetic technology and switched to researching weapons. Anyway, the current genetic technology is enough for the time being. Orochimaru has never used weapon technology. Most of the system weapon technologies are hot weapons, and the first one is the gun. Orochimaru knows that ordinary pistols are equivalent to accelerated versions of shurikens, and are actually useless to ninjas. Unless they use cold guns, otherwise, in a head-on battle, even a genin can easily avoid it. But for the subsequent technology, he still has to build it, so he needs various metal smelters and processing plants. Of course, before that, he needs to get the approval of the daimyo. Although the name of Ta no Kuni is a waste, if you make weapons privately without official approval, you will be tabooed. When the official hires ninjas to investigate, it will always be a trouble if the matter spreads. What? Build a village? When the daimyo of Tien country saw Orochimaru appear in front of him, he was completely stunned. In this turbulent era, there are still people who dare to come to Tien country to build a village? They are not afraid that the village will be destroyed by other countries the next day. Are you done? Orochimaru took out 2 boxes. Yes, as long as the daimyo agrees, the 20 million taels will be yours, and I can also guarantee that your country will no longer be harassed by those wandering ninjas. Please consider it. It must be said that Orochimaru's proposal made the daimyo of Tianakuni very excited. There was no ninja village in Tien country, so it was often invaded by war. It's okay for other big villages to bully them, after all, their national strength lies there. It is normal for big countries to bully small countries and for strong countries to bully weak countries. But some wandering ninjas come to their country to do evil, and they have no way to do it, which seems a bit frustrating. Therefore, the daimyo carefully considered Orochimaru's suggestion. There are pros and cons to Orochimaru building a shinobi village in his country. Profit, of course, goes without saying. Although Orochimaru said that his village would not accept any commissions, he would give appropriate amounts of money to the country every year and ensure the stability of the country. It can be said to be of great benefit. The disadvantage is that it is easy to be targeted by other countries. After all, it's hard not to attract their attention when a ninja village suddenly appears in your country. Of course, this is easy to solve, as long as the location of the ninja village is kept secret enough. Thinking of this, Dai Ming nodded slightly, nodding: It's not a big problem, but if you want to build a village, there won't be other ninjas. I'm afraid you'll be alone. Who said I'm alone? Orochimaru smiled faintly. Swish! As soon as he finished speaking, 3 figures came out from nowhere. They were all the same in black clothes, black hair, height, and appearance. Seeing these 3 people, the daimyo was confused. At first he thought they were triplets, but when Orochimaru casually explained his skills to him, he became even more confused. Clones? Damn, this is so awesome! Especially after seeing the fighting power of these 3 people, he was even more surprised. There seems to be a Jonin level? The daimyo is not a fool, so he naturally knows how awesome this technology is. With the fighting prowess displayed by these 3 people, if Orochimaru is given a certain amount of time, he can create an army that is enough for Tien country to dominate the ninja world. Do you need any help? It took a long time before the daimyo of Tien country could hold back these words. There was no way, he was a daimyo after all, and there was no daimyo who didn't want his country to be strong. The appearance of Orochimaru made his weak heart a little more strong. Ambition. After hearing what the daimyo said, Orochimaru smiled faintly. I don't need help, as long as you don't cause trouble. Good, okay, I promise there's nothing major and I won't bother you. The daimyo swallowed. Keeping secrets must be kept secret. This is the key to the rise of Tien country. He firmly believes in this. As for whether Orochimaru will seize the power of his daimyo, he is not worried about this. He has seen Orochimaru. He has no doubt about cloning technology. If this guy really wants to seize power, he only needs to kill himself and clone a person to replace him. There is no need to gain his own approval at all. He firmly believes that as long as he does not if you mess with him, he will definitely not do anything to himself. I have to say that the daimyo of Ta no Kuni has a very correct thinking. Because Orochimaru really has no idea of fighting for power. Especially for a small daimyo of Ta no Kuni, he will not let go at all. In his eyes, control and replace him? Orochimaru doesn't have that spare time. Therefore, the conversation between the 2 parties was very successful. In this way, the construction of Orochimaru's ninja village was approved in advance. Wood escape, the art of connecting 4 pillars. Boom! In a deep mountain and old forest in Tianzi country, a series of houses have risen from the ground. The huge amount of chakra in the immortal body made Orochimaru feel no fatigue at all. Well, although this jutsu is Captain Yamato's would release ninjutsu. But building houses is indeed a very convenient ninjutsu. So Orochimaru is really delicious. Earth escape. Earth flow wall. Countless clones pressed their hands to the ground. Boom boom boom. Rows of solid earth walls surrounded the house built by Orochimaru. The clones created by Orochimaru have the Sharingan, so they naturally have all 5 attributes of chakra. Being able to use earth escape is not surprising at all. With the efforts of him and 19 clones, a decent ninja village was built in less than 3 days. Of course, these houses are not used for clones, but for future subordinates. Clones? Just using the sleeping cabin is enough. The next step is to search for mineral sources. When the second batch of 100 clones comes out, we can start mining, refining ore, and making weapons. It seems there is no need to wait for the second batch of clones. Orochimaru suddenly thought of something. So, a few days later, ordinary people in Tien country received such a message. Help with mining? 1 person, 1,000 taels a day? Real or fake? It's unbelievable, can we give so much money in 1 day? Ordinary people in Tien country are in disbelief when they see the notice in their town. You know, the average genin can only pay 5,000 taels per task, which is divided between 3 people. The income of an ordinary worker in a day is less than that of a genin. It is much lower, usually only 500 or 600 taels a day, which is enough for a family of 3. Moreover, during this war period, they have to risk their lives to work for others. But now, This person not only provides high wages, but also provides food and accommodation, and most importantly, ensure their lives. As a result, countless people came to the location where Orochimaru discovered the minerals with doubts. Without exception, these people are all middle-aged men from every household. Boom! A man slapped the notice on Orochimaru's desk. Hey, you really give me 1,000 taels a day? His attitude was very arrogant, as if he was afraid that he would not be paid after the work was completed. But as soon as he finished this action, before he could react, a kunai with a cold light was placed on his neck without knowing it. Be polite to Orochimaru-sama, otherwise, kill you. Big, Orochimaru? The cold voice scared the man to sweat on his forehead. He slowly turned his head and saw a pair of cold black pupils appearing in front of his eyes. Clones? Under the cold eyes of the clones, both of them became honest. But at the same time there was also a touch of fear. They thought it was a trap and wanted to leave this ghost place as soon as possible. However, Orochimaru's indifferent smile and the temptation to pay 1 day's wages in advance made most of them stay. For those who stayed, the task Orochimaru gave them was very simple. It was enough to transport the minerals mined by the mining machine to the designated location. Of course, this location was temporarily selected by Orochimaru, and his own base was naturally not maybe let these people know. 1 day passed, and people spent their work in uneasiness. 2 days passed, and not only did nothing happen to them, but they all got their due wages. 1 or 2 people felt relieved. 3 days passed, they have regarded this as their job to feed themselves. 4 days and 5 days have passed, and more people have come to work in Orochimaru. Half a month has passed. Long live Lord Orochimaru! I am willing to work for Lord Orochimaru for the rest of my life. Orochimaru-sama, I love you. Orochimaru-sama is the savior of our family. A savior? Isn't it? You don't know, before coming here, I haven't eaten for 2 days. Really? That was so touching, Lord Orochimaru was so kind. In this way, Orochimaru easily became the god in their hearts. The house they lived in was temporarily built for them by Orochimaru. There is no money for the land anyway. In this case, for him with almost unlimited chakra, it was just a matter of performing 2 wood escape ninjutsu. The food is provided by the hired wives and daughters of the common people. Let the 2 clones wear cloaks and masks to protect them and help them transport and prepare food. As for money, Orochimaru didn't have to worry at all. After all, there are not many residents around. Apart from the old, weak, sick, and disabled, there are only 1 or 200 strong men. 1 or 200 people, 1,000 taels per person, is 1 or 200,000 a day. For Orochimaru, who only needs 50 to 60 million taels per transaction with neighboring small countries, this amount of money is completely enough even if it lasts for several years. You know, Orochimaru can now implant scientific research materials into clones and mass-produce gene repair solutions and the like. Money? For him, it's still about getting as much as you want. Of course, as a time traveler, he still understands the methods of hunger marketing. Rare things are valuable, and only rare things can be sold at high prices. So he still controlled the quantity of these potions. A small country can only trade once a year, which is about 120 repair solutions and 20 enhancement solutions. 90 million taels at a time. In the past 3 or 4 years, calculated as 3 small countries per year, Orochimaru now has about 1 billion. 1 billion, which has reached the amount of transactions between countries. So, money? For Orochimaru, it's really not a problem. While Orochimaru was creating clones and military factories, the tensions between the major powers were also intensifying. At the end of the 29th year of Konoha, Uzumaki Mito passed away, and Uzumaki Kushina officially became the second 9 taels Jinchuriki. Because of the confidentiality of Uzumaki Kushina becoming a Jinchuriki, she did not receive the same treatment as Naruto. However, it was precisely because of Uzumaki Mito's death that the conflict between various countries officially began. The main conflict is between the Kingdom of Wind, the Kingdom of Earth and Konoha. The three ninjas have already begun tentative attacks. Konoha 30 years, Konoha village, the country of fire, Root's headquarters. Yakushi no ninja sword, powerful outfit, armor, mask, and a standard Root ninja dress half knelt in front of Danzo. Danzo looked calm and said in a low voice, No, I have trained you for so long, it's time to contribute to the village. Please give me your orders, Danzo-sama. Nanoyu, who was kneeling on one knee, said respectfully. Although she also attended a ninja school, she spent time at Danzo's gen for training after school. After graduation, she has been working in gen. So even though he is only 11 years old, his ability is still stronger than many people. Danzo continued, We have received news that the Kingdom of Wind has recently planned a large-scale attack. Now we need you to enter the Sand Ninja village to investigate whether this information is true. If it is true, I hope you investigate the time, place, and specific content of the operation clearly, and report it to Konoha. It should be a long-term mission. Learn. No Naiu took the order to go to the Kingdom of Wind. Jiraiya, who received the order from Sarutobi Hiruzen, also rushed back to Konoha village. The atmosphere in the village was tense, and everyone had seen signs of war. For a moment, the entire population of Konoha was in panic, fearing that after going to the battlefield, they or their relatives would not be able to come back. But, except one person. There is no doubt that this person is Jiraiya. Jiraiya, who had just returned to the village, saw Tsunade in casual clothes appearing in front of him, and his jaw almost dropped to the ground. Tsunade? What an amazing size you are! At this time, Jiraiya has just returned to Konoha and is returning to the Hokage's office with the third Hokage. And Tsunade, wearing a ponytail and a white mesh top, pushed in the door. Seeing Tsunade's current model, Jiraiya's whole body, they are all full of jealousy. Of course, what he is jealous of is not Tsunade, but Orochimaru. With this type of model, no girl outside can compare with her. So as Tsunade's boyfriend, Orochimaru, wouldn't he be able to survive? Addiction? After hearing Jiraiya's words, Tsunade, who was originally happy that Jiraiya returned to the village safely, suddenly looked contemptuous. Really, after so many years, your lustful character has really not changed at all. Woolen cloth. We are all adults, when will we be able to mature? Why am I immature? Oh, by the way, why didn't you see Orochimaru? Shouldn't this guy be with you? Jiraiya looked confused. Since returning to the village, he has not seen any trace of Orochimaru. Tsunade spread her hands helplessly. I don't know this either. In the message he gave me, he did not reveal his identity. Whereabouts? During this time, Orochimaru was also in contact with Tsunade, but it was only one-sided contact. And he only contacted her twice. Well? Orochimaru is out too. Jiraiya was stunned. When he left the village, it was a prophetic mission. Why did Orochimaru go out? But before he had time to think about it, the voice of the third Hokage came over. Let's talk about old times later. The words of the third Hokage successfully diverted the attention of the two people. After listening to the words of the third Hokage, the two of them also looked solemn. At present, relations between countries are severe, and war may break out at any time. Konoha has entered a state of first-level combat readiness. Is it that serious? Jiraiya said in a deep voice. When he left, the world was still peaceful. Unexpectedly, a world war would start as soon as he came back? Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of his pipe and blew out a smoke ring. Of course, otherwise I wouldn't have asked you to come back. Teacher, when did you start smoking? Oh? Haha. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled awkwardly. I've been under a lot of pressure recently, so I couldn't help but take a few puffs. It seems that a lot of things happened during my absence. How long has Orochimaru been out? More than a year or less than 2 years. Alas, doesn't that mean that you haven't had it for more than a year? Jiraiya's eyes lit up. Tsunade, why don't you consider me? What are you thinking about? Of course it's my boyfriend. Jiraiya said matter-of-factly. This guy has been out for so long and ignored you. Don't you feel lonely? It just so happens that the wise and powerful Jiraiya-sama is very free right now. If you choose me as your boyfriend, don't waste your efforts. Tsunade interrupted Jiraiya and said casually, with your lustful look, I will never like you in this life. I can never like you in this life? If ordinary people hear this, they will definitely be shocked. But Jiraiya is not an ordinary person. Not only was he not angry, but he pretended to be mysterious and whispered into Tsunade's ear. 2 whispers. Ah! A sudden punch erupted under the Hokage building, followed by Tsunade's roar. I can't help but have nothing to do with you? You pervert, if you talk nonsense again, be careful I tear your mouth apart, you bastard. Tsunade's roar immediately attracted the attention of all passers-by. Tsunade didn't care, however, and left the Hokage building full of anger, mumbling as she walked. This guy, whom I haven't seen for almost 4 years, still has such a deadly character and is so unrepentant. Compared to Jiraiya, Orochimaru is much more perfect in her mind. Thinking of Orochimaru, Tsunade's face immediately changed to a happy smile. She seemed to have forgotten the Jiraiya who was beaten by her. Yet, at this time, Jiraiya was beaten half to death by this punch. Only the occasional twitching of his clogs proved that he was still alive. Whoosh! The figure of a Chuunin suddenly appeared in front of Tsunade. Tsunade-sama. What's up? The Chuunin looked embarrassed. That, I might bother you to go to a ninja school. Ninja school? Hearing this, Tsunade immediately understood what was going on. Half an hour ago. Tomato. From now on you will be called Tomato. Ha ha ha, with a chubby round face and red hair, isn't it just a tomato? How could Tomato become Hokage? I hate tomatoes the most. Me too, if there is tomato in the salad, I leave it all. How can an unpopular tomato be recognized by the villagers? Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. In Konoha Ninja School, a group of boys surrounded a little girl with red hair and laughed unbridled. The little girl blushed and said nothing. There was even a boy who laughed and reached out to grab the girl's hair. Tomato Day is here, let's go harvest the fruits. At this time, they didn't even notice that the girl was on the verge of breaking out. Bang! The boy's wrist was tightly grasped by the girl. Who do you call a tomato? The little girl said angrily. Let me state in advance that I also hate tomatoes. Ah, drink! The little girl's absolute physical advantage made her much stronger than her peers. She actually used the strength of her arms to directly pick up the boy and throw him away. She pursued the victory, followed him, and raised her fist towards him. The boy was hit hard on the head. Bang bang bang! Punch after punch. If you continue to underestimate me and call me a tomato, I will make you unable to eat and walk around in circles. Several boys were beaten by a girl and screamed again and again. After the girl beat the boys, she suddenly heard a burst of laughter coming from the front. She quickly raised her head and looked in the direction of the sound, and saw that the little yellow-haired boy who was in the same class with her was staring at yourself and laughing. What are you laughing? If you laugh again, believe it or not, I will beat you too? You sissy! Seeing the girl raising her fist, Xiao Huangmao was stunned and quickly turned his head away in fright. Really, Sheena, why are you fighting? In the school office, Tsunade rubbed Kushina's head speechlessly. Uzumaki Kushina is from the Uzumaki clan, and Uzumaki Mito is Tsunade's grandmother. So according to this relationship, there is still a relationship between the two. They are related. Therefore, after Uzumaki Mito passed away, Tsunade would pay attention to the survivors of the Uzumaki clan when she had time. Today, she received a notice from the school that Kushina beat a group of boys at school, so she was asked to claim them. After hearing Tsunade's words, Kushina lowered her head and said nothing. Finally, the teacher told the whole story. That, Tsunade-sama, is like this. After hearing the teacher's story, she was a little unwilling. She thought she would get a scolding from Tsunade, but she didn't expect it. So that's it, then it's okay, let's go, Kushina. With that said, Tsunade walked out of the office first. Seeing this scene, the teacher was stunned, and Kushina was also stunned. But she quickly followed. That, won't you teach me a lesson? Teach you a lesson? Why should I teach you a lesson? Tsuna said without looking back. Didn't I beat them? Kushina asked curiously. Didn't you say that hitting someone in school is wrong? Tsunade waved her hand indifferently. Just hit, what's the big deal? If it were me, maybe I would hit him harder. Kushina, listen, if someone doesn't mess with you and you hit someone, I will definitely reprimand you severely, but if someone else messes with you first? Hey, don't be afraid, just beat him up, I'll take care of it for you if something happens. On the street, Tsunade said with high spirits. It has to be said that there are juniors just like the elders. Tsunade herself is a master who beats people when she is unhappy. She will temporarily take care of Kushina. Kushina naturally, he will be influenced by her. But it seems that Tsunade's temper is very suitable for Kushina. At least now, Kushina regards Tsunade as her role model. That, let me ask you a question, if I really did this, would anyone still like me? Kushina, who felt much better after hearing Tsunade's words, suddenly thought of this and became depressed again. Originally, her red hair was disliked by others. If she is still so violent, then who would be willing to do it? Are you playing with yourself? Hearing Kushina's words, Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then smiled. Kushina, what do you think of me? You? I don't know much about it, but I heard that Tsunade-sama likes gambling and drinking, and she doesn't seem to have a very good temper. Before the confused Kushina could finish her words, she felt a chill. No, that's not what I meant. The innocent Kushina seemed to react and quickly waved her hands to defend herself. I mean, I like Tsunade-sama's character very much. Listening to Kushina's weak defense, Tsunade's face was gloomy, her emotions already on the verge of exploding. Is she really as bad as she said? But she is already 20 years old after all, so naturally she cannot be angry with a 6-year-old girl. Therefore, she suppressed her inner depression and tried her best to make a smiling expression towards Kushina. Don't look at me like this, in fact, I also have a boyfriend. Well? Have a boyfriend? Kushina had an incredible look on her face. This expression seemed like she was looking at a monster. Phew! This suspicious expression made Tsunade feel like a steel knife had pierced her heart. There was simply no way to talk today. But the next second, Kushina's words made Tsunade feel a lot better. Then I think Tsunade-sama's boyfriend must be a very good ninja, right? Of course, I dare say that among ninjas of the same age, there will be no better ninja than him. When it comes to Orochimaru, Tsunade is full of pride. Being with Orochimaru, she feels that this is the most correct thing she has done in her life. Well. Hearing this, Kushina widened her eyes. Is it so powerful? Of course. Seeing Kushina's unimaginable expression, Tsunade instantly forgot what had just happened and continued to talk to Kushina about Orochimaru's glorious deeds. Talking about the joy, she even almost got carried away and told some confidential things. She said it. But fortunately, she was an elite after all, so she kept her mouth shut at the critical moment. Of course, even this made Kushina, who had never seen Orochimaru, become seriously curious about Orochimaru. It made Kushina seriously curious about Orochimaru. Tsunade, who has always had a bad temper, shows off her feminine posture. This is indeed not something that ordinary people can do. On the other side, Tien country. Orochimaru has been in this country for nearly 2 years. At this time, in an open space near the border, a huge cocky python was coiled up in a circle, spitting out its own red tongue. The golden snake eyes staring ahead sent chills down the spine. Several ninjas were lying on the ground in a mess around him. Looking at the short-haired girl in front of him, Orochimaru had to sigh. Sometimes, fate is really wonderful. The girl is not good-looking and wears civilian clothes, but her short red hair is particularly conspicuous. Tell me, what's your name? My name is, the girl subconsciously prepared to speak, but hesitated. My name is Channa. Chanel? Orochimaru smiled. It's a nice name. So, are you willing to come with me? And, follow you? Looking at the fair-skinned long-haired man in front of him, the short-haired girl named Konoha, he was obviously stunned. Orochimaru said calmly, yes, as long as you go to my place, no one can bully you. Really? You decide for yourself. Orochimaru spread his hands, unusually casual. He did not explain. Because he believed that in this war-torn era, none of these people who had lost their hometown could refuse his request. Especially, this girl is from the Uzumaki clan. Sure enough, as if to confirm Orochimaru's conjecture, the girl nodded quickly without any hesitation. Because now she had no choice. She escaped all the way from the village and fled to Tien country in a panic. Finally, she found he hid in a safe place. Unexpectedly, he was discovered by a group of wandering ninjas. If the man in front of him hadn't appeared in time, he probably would have ended up being trafficked. You know, the members of the Uzumaki clan are very valuable on the black market. Orochimaru walked in front, and the girl followed behind. Soon, the two came to the foot of a beautiful mountain. Orochimaru slowly said, forgot to introduce myself, my name is Orochimaru, and from now on, this is your workplace. I will help you get familiar with everything here as soon as possible. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. Konoha replied respectfully. Now she is very confused and doesn't know her future destiny, so she can only do things for Orochimaru. After hearing Konoha's answer, Orochimaru nodded slightly and led her towards the experimental base. Go. This is amazing. These people will obey your orders from now on. As long as they are here, no one can hurt you unless a big country invades. Orochimaru looked at the girl calmly. Konoha, a member of the Uzumaki clan, is only 15 years old now. Orochimaru promised that no one would bully her, but he seemed a bit arrogant. But she also realized that the person in front of her was not a simple person. After all, 7 or 8 wandering ninjas were killed by this guy instantly without even being able to fight back. So she was very curious about Orochimaru. After all, the person who can say this in troubled times, in addition to his own strength, should not be too weak. However, it wasn't until she came to Orochimaru's experimental base that she realized that she still underestimated his power. In the secret experimental base, countless people with similar looks are working tirelessly in this base. In other places, densely packed experimental cabins and sleeping cabins stand side by side, and there are people exactly like these people being cultivated in the experimental cabins. She doesn't understand what's happening now. Seeing Konoha's surprised look, Orochimaru smiled and began to familiarize her with her work. First let her get familiar with the working environment, then implant her information in the clone's mind and set some permissions. According to the level of authority, let these clones decide who they want to take orders from, so that after giving the management authority to her, she will not be afraid of rebelling with the clones. Of course, this is just a preventive measure and is not usually used. To be honest, Orochimaru was also worried about whether to restore Ye Ying's independent thinking and let him help him manage things here before he returned to Konoha. After all, these clones currently have no independent thinking. Once they leave, they will become idle. Hanging up is not a problem for a short period of time, but it will inevitably cause problems over time. So it is completely necessary to find someone to watch. But even he didn't expect that he would meet Xiang Lu's mother before he went back. Yes, Chanel is Xianglin's mother. Although the name Chanel is probably fake. But Orochimaru didn't care anymore. As for why Orochimaru is so sure that Kaso is Kaso's mother? That's because except for her hair color, her physique is the same as in her memory. When he was dealing with those wandering ninjas without eyes before, he heard with his own ears that the wandering ninja who was injured by him asked the girl to let him bite her and heal his wounds. Plus her hair color, it's not hard to guess at all. Thinking of this, Orochimaru unconsciously raised his lips. Before Yakushi Kabuto was born, he met Nono and Jin, and he built a village in advance. Before Kabuto was born, he could still meet her mother? I have to say, sometimes, fate is really a wonderful thing. Hateful. Watch out. Go to hell. Boom. At the same time, in the Kingdom of Rain, countless shouts and explosions sounded around a certain forest. They shouted and fought to save their companions. Quick, quick, retreat. Whoosh whoosh. Dozens of figures retreated quickly. They were holding their companions in their arms, and their bodies were covered with blood. They ran desperately to their base. But at this moment, strange sounds came from their retreat route. It rang. Ta 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 tat. This is. Ta 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 ta. The sound is getting louder and louder, and the number is getting denser and denser. Immediately afterwards, a puppet came into their eyes. The puppet was flying in the sky, and its various parts were constantly moving. That click-click sound is exactly the sound of the wood hitting the puppet's joints when they bite together. Damn it, they are the puppet troops of the Suna ninja. There's an ambush among us. Konoha belongs to, maintain the defensive formation, quickly. Medium and long-range ninjas are ready to attack. Fire escape. The art of powerful fireball. Wind escape. Wind dancing. Thunder escape. Thunder snake. Wind, fire, thunder, and lightning, flying all over the sky. Damn it, the weather in Omegakure village affects the power of ninjutsu. We cannot continue like this, we must concentrate our efforts to break out. Yes, those who broke out immediately sought support from Lord Hokage. Go from the flank, quick! What? Ambushed by the Sand Ninja Puppet Army. Konoha Village, Hokage's office. Upon hearing the news, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes narrowed slightly. Although the relationship between the two countries is now tense and they are attacking each other, neither country has done anything serious. But the puppet army is the special thing of Sand Ninja troops. As soon as this team came out, it proved the determination of the Kingdom of Wind to fight. Assemble the troops and prepare to counterattack. Sarutobi Hiruzen decisively issued the order. Therefore, the ninjas of Konoha village were fully armed and ready to go. After confirming the march route and supply line, all ninjas began to gather. Based on the intelligence sent back by my subordinates, we have basically confirmed the enemy's 3 attack routes. Danzo threw a stack of information in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little surprised, picked up the information and flipped through it. Is the information accurate? You can't go wrong. Okay, I get it. Konoha's vanguard troops marched toward the border of the Land of Fire in a mighty manner. After they arrived at the border of the Kingdom of Fire, they did not immediately join the battle, but took the lead in setting up camp. Because war is not a matter of 1 or 2 days. This is especially true for the ninja war. Sense first, then attack from a distance. Both sides fought carefully, and immediately ran away if they missed a hit. It's normal to hurt people, but kill people? Unless the two sides engage in an encounter for a special mission, it is difficult to actually kill an enemy. Therefore, it is necessary to establish a temporary military base. If you want ninjas to fight unbridled, you must at least give them a strong backing. Watching these ninjas leaving Konoha one after another. At the entrance of Konoha village, Jiraiya squatted on the ground adjusting his arm guards. Seriously, where did this guy go? You're not back yet. His tone was full of complaints. As a man who was responsible for the fate of the entire ninja world, he rushed back from the outside all the way. Orochimaru, this guy, is like a normal person. Who knows? Tsunade, do you think this guy will die outside? Even if you die, he will not die. Tsunade said angrily. Ha ha ha, just kidding, this guy is stronger than me, so he will be fine. Of course Tsunade also knew that Jiraiya was joking. The teacher has always been in contact with him, but it was only with secret codes. I heard he said he was looking for a medicinal material, but who knows? Is this guy doing some weird research again? Well, the kind that would be inconvenient for the village to know. Jiraiya looked thoughtful. It has to be said that after all, the three of them grew up together. With just a casual word, they had already guessed the same thing. You shut up. Tsunade quickly stopped. Don't talk about this kind of thing nonsense. If the village finds out, they will think Orochimaru has something. What? It turns out you are the same as before, just Orochimaru, Orochimaru all day long. Of course, he's my boyfriend. Okay, don't tell me this, you haven't done anything, how can you be considered boyfriend and girlfriend? Maybe Orochimaru is following you outside right now. Before Jiraiya could finish his words, he immediately closed his mouth because he saw Tsunade's clenched fist and stared at him maliciously. Jiraiya, continue talking? Why are not you talking? Ahem, I won't say any more. No more talking, haha. Jiraiya laughed dryly and said nothing. If this guy is punched twice by Tsunade before going to the battlefield, it will not be a good thing no matter how you look at it. Are you ready? The third Hokage, wearing a godlike robe, walked slowly from the side. You can leave at any time, but if there are only two of us, there is no other way, just the two of you go first. Before you come back, Orochimaru and Tsunade will also be on the mission alone. Is that so? Hey, Orochimaru? Ha ha ha. Genetics, weapons, daily life? Haha, after completing 3 weapon technologies, you can actually unlock a big category. Interesting. Outside Konoha village, Orochimaru, who was wearing ninja equipment, put his hands in his trouser pockets, carried a large scroll on his back, and moved slowly towards the entrance of Konoha village. Yes, the third major category appeared in his system. Daily life. The daily life category is a new category unlocked by the system after he completes his third weapon technology. There is no doubt that the system is to allow him to develop his moral, intellectual, and physical development in an all-round way. However, the daily life category is for him who wants to improve his strength. It was of no use at all, so Orochimaru just looked at it. It seems like you came back a little late. Looking at the numerous footprints at the entrance of the village, Orochimaru paused. His contact with the third generation was just to ask the third generation to leave a code in a specific place. Every once in a while, he would go and visit. Now it seems that the third generation Naruto was forced to come back with no other options. Orochimaru, ha ha ha, you are finally back. Just after entering the village, Tsunade flew into Orochimaru's arms without any scruples, immediately attracting everyone's attention. But Tsunade didn't care about other people's eyes at all. Seeing this scene, the third Hokage shook his head helplessly. Tsunade and Orochimaru established their relationship very early, and no one could do anything about their affairs. Even he could only watch. Feeling the girl's unique body fragrance, Orochimaru smiled faintly. Tsunade, it's been a long time. No, you seem to be more feminine. Hee, of course. Orochimaru patted her back gently. Although I suddenly became a little reluctant, I still have to see the teacher first. Tsunade actually nodded obediently. She didn't seem to care about the reluctance in Orochimaru's words, nor did she care about the scroll behind Orochimaru. However, she didn't let go of Orochimaru's hand, and just held it. Arriving in front of the third Hokage, it seemed as if he was afraid that Orochimaru would run away again. Orochimaru. The third Hokage smiled. Teacher. Well, I'm sorry, things haven't been very good recently, so I can only summon you back. I understand. Orochimaru nodded and said directly, what is our mission this time? There is no special mission. Now that you are back, the three of you will rush directly to the front line. The war there will be temporarily handed over to the three of you. The other families will assist you. I have already given the order. This is the enemy. 3 offensive lines, you take it. This time, our goal is to repel all enemies. Is this so? Orochimaru took the scroll handed over by the third Hokage and nodded slightly. I understand, just leave it to us. Let's go, Jiraiya. Hehe, your way of speaking is still so annoying. Orochimaru, when did you start memorizing the scroll? In the woods, looking at Orochimaru running ahead, Jiraiya looked confused. The scroll on Orochimaru's back was very large, the same size as the scroll on his back. When this guy just came back, Jiraiya he noticed it, but never had a chance to ask. Now the three of them rushed to the front line alone, and he finally asked. After hearing Jiraiya's question, Tsunade also reacted. Yet, I've never seen you use it before. Such a big scroll. It contains a lot of strategic materials, which can help the war to be won quickly. Strategic materials? Can the war be won quickly? Jiraiya was stunned. You guys, when you go out to look for medicinal materials or something, you are indeed lying. It's not a lie, it's just that I happened to encounter such a suitable technology on the road. Orochimaru naturally lied. There are many things that Orochimaru researches that cannot be published. Therefore, he will definitely say some things that should be said, but he will not reveal them at all. Come out. Is that so? Tsunade thought thoughtfully. But what exactly are you studying? Why not go back to the village and study it? There is not enough time, and the technology belongs to others. I need to improve it on the original basis. Therefore, it is not appropriate to return to the village until the improvement is successful. I see. Jiraiya laughed and said, by the way, I'm really curious, what did you research this time? Is it also a medicine or something? The gene-enhancing fluid you studied last time helped me a lot. It must be something more powerful this time, right? Certainly. Sure enough, haha. That, can you give us a look first? Jiraiya and Tsunade's curiosity was immediately aroused, and they were obviously impatient. Don't worry, you'll know when you get there. Orochimaru smiled mysteriously. Lord Orochimaru, you are finally here. Great, if you come, the war will be much easier to fight. Inform them and hold a pre-war meeting. Yes. On the border of the Land of Fire, Konoha military base. Countless huge tents are scattered at random. As the temporary commander of the front line, Nara Hackberry breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Orochimaru appear in sight. He quickly conveyed the order and prepared for the meeting. Pre-war meeting. Narapusha knows that these three people are disciples of the Hokage. And their fighting power is extremely exaggerated. With one blocking 10, there is basically no problem. The war of ninjas, with such cutting-edge combat power joining the case, there will be a lot more tactics. To be honest, among the Nara clan, the ones Orochimaru remembers most are Nara Shikaku and Nara Shikamaru father and son. One is a Konoha think tank who has directed many large-scale wars, and the other is the 12 Little Strong. Every battle is won by IQ. But now, Nara Shikakuzu is only 7 or 8 years old, and has not graduated from the ninja school. Therefore, the current military advisor is this Nara Hakushu. The three of them entered the tent, and Orochimaru glanced at it. It seemed that people from all the major families were there. Among them was Hitaki Sakumo, who was wearing ninja equipment. "Tell me, what is the situation now?" In the conference room, the three Orochimaru and all the family patriarchs sat together and began to exchange information. Regardless of their strength, in the face of war, you still need to know enough information to better deal with the enemy. On the battlefield, unless your strength can to reach the level of the first Hokage and Uchiha Madara, otherwise you want to run rampant on the battlefield? It is obviously not enough. Sirs, according to our summary of the battle during this period, the weather in Omegakure village has a great impact on us Konoha ninjas. In addition, the Suna ninjas have dispatched puppet troops, so the current situation is very unfavorable for us. Nara Pusher reported the current situation to Orochimaru and the others. In a word, fighting in the rain country, where it rains all year round, has a great impact on the Konoha ninjas. Except for a few sand ninjas in the Kingdom of Wind, who play with sand and magnets, most of them mainly use wind escape and earth escape as a supplement. To restrain wind escape and earth escape, fire escape and thunder escape are needed. On rainy days, of these two escape techniques, the power of fire escape is greatly reduced, and thunder escape can easily shock one's own people. Plus enemy puppet troops. If the Konoha ninjas didn't have so many secret techniques to support them, the battle would probably be one-sided. Puppet army? Orochimaru murmured. Yes, the Suna ninjas' puppet troops are very difficult to deal with, causing our ninjas to suffer a lot. So if we want to defeat the Sand Ninja, we must find a way to contain the opponent's puppet troops first. Orochimaru pondered for a moment and said the puppet army is indeed in some trouble. If ordinary ninjas go there, it will have no effect at all. If you want to contain them, it is best to exercise restraint in your abilities. As soon as these words came out, everyone nodded. If one's own ability is restrained, it will only increase the damage. Therefore, my people are of no use. The Hyuga clan leader who suffered from cataracts was the first to speak. Hyuga Hayashi is not much older than Nara Shikaku, so now the clan leader is Hyuga Hayashi's father. After hearing the words of the Hyuga clan leader, Orochimaru nodded. The Hyuga family is good at taijutsu. Soft fist, and the thing that the Sand Ninja's puppet troops are least afraid of is physical skills. Of course, this is not to say that the puppet troops are strong in single combat, but because the most troublesome among the puppets are poisonous smoke and poisonous needles. In close combat, a few poisonous needles may fly out of any part, making it hard to guard against. When fighting in a duel, you may not be able to tell how awesome it is, but on the battlefield, the puppet is simply a killer weapon. So, do you want to defeat their puppet troops with physical skills? Unless everyone can open the 8-gate dungeon, if they encounter the puppet troops of the Sand Ninja, they will just kneel down and there is no need to negotiate at all. The puppet master on the battlefield has the fatal restraint ability against ninjas who are good at close attacks, so I think my tribe, like the Rizu chief, can only provide a few tribesmen to be used as sentient ninjas. The person who spoke this time was the Inyazuka family, a professional dog breeder in Konoha. Orochimaru nodded slightly. Well, that means that we can only send ninjas who are good at medium and long-range attacks and ninjas who can detoxify? I see. Tsunade, I leave the detoxification to you. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Uchiha clan leader, how many people from the Uchiha clan came this time? About 200 people. How many people have the Sharingan opened? There are only more than 20. More than 20, enough. Orochimaru said calmly. It's up to you to deal with the Suna ninja's puppet army. What? Orochimaru, are you kidding me? The one who spoke was Uchiha-en. This guy has been a little grudge ever since he was tortured by Orochimaru in the Death Forest. It's just that Orochimaru has been elusive since he became a Chunin, so the two of them can't see each other at all. He had almost forgotten about it. But now is the time of war. Before other high-level officials of Konoha come here, Orochimaru and the other three have temporarily gained command here. Based on the previous grudge between the two, he very much suspected that Orochimaru was trying to fill the Uchiha clan's shoes. Yes, to deal with the puppet army, ninjas at medium and long range are most suitable, and the Uchiha clan just meets this requirement. Moreover, Uchiha's fire style can just restrain the Suna ninja's wind style, which looks perfect on the surface. But this is also superficial. Who doesn't know that the weather in Yuyan village will affect the power of fire release? Moreover, the enemy's puppet poisonous needles are scattered in a mess. If they are too dense, even with the Sharingan, they cannot be completely avoided. More importantly, they didn't know how many enemy puppet troops came this time. Let them have more than 20 Uchiha tribesmen to deal with these puppet troops? This is simply a fantasy. After hearing Uchiha Yan's words, before Orochimaru could answer, another Uchiha boy next to the Uchiha clan leader said, "Brother Yan, let Orochimaru finish what he has to say first." "Yes, Yan, this is war. Don't make any remarks until the order is clear." The Uchiha clan leader also scolded in a cold voice. Although he was also a little unhappy with Orochimaru's arrangement, after all, he is the clan leader and can hold his breath more calmly than Uchiha-en. "Yes, yes." Facing the clan leader's scolding, Uchiha-en could only nodded. After hearing the two people's words, Orochimaru looked at the boy next to the Uchiha clan leader. Some people become so impetuous after becoming Jounin? Learn more from the brothers next to you. I really don't know how you became a Jounin. You. Uchiha-en was slightly angry and wanted to say something more, but when he saw the look in his clan leader's eyes, he suppressed what he wanted to say. Orochimaru ignored him and gave the order directly. "Forget it, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you, I'll give the order directly. The formation of ninjas will be fought according to your previous formation, but the Uchiha clan's Sharingan and 2 Megatama or above leave. Inyazuka, Hinata, and Abarame, leave 2 members of your family for me, and leave the other ninjas to Hackberry. However, remember that each team must be equipped with sentient ninjas. If you encounter the puppets of Sand Ninja in the Land of Rain, don't confront the troops head-on, retreat directly." "Yes." "Oh, by the way, Sakumo-sama, your team will also stay for a while." Under Orochimaru's order, the other teams were handed over to Haku's command, while Hatake Sakumo and the Sharingan clan members above Uchiha's double Megatama remained. Sunin, Hatake Sakumo's team, Abarame and Hinata with the Inyazuka clan and the Uchiha clan. Of course, the Uchiha clan leader will not be here. After all, he is the clan leader and needs to go elsewhere to direct the battle. Needless to say, the team members of the Sunin and Hatake Sakumo, Uchiha clan members include, Uchiha Retsu, Uchiha Flame, Uchiha Set, etc. There were a dozen Uchihas in total. Uchiha Shu is the classmate who caused trouble for Orochimaru. However, that was all a matter of childhood, because the two have never crossed paths after graduation, so there is no hatred or anything like that now. A total of 16 people with more than 2 Megatama? Orochimaru glanced at the Uchiha tribesman in front of him and nodded slightly. "Well, who is your Uchiha commander in battle this time?" "It's me, Lord Orochimaru." A young man stood up with a calm expression. Orochimaru was a little surprised when he saw this man. He remembered that he was the young man standing behind the Uchiha clan leader just now. But the leader of the Uchiha team was not Uchiha-en? "You, what is your name?" "Uchiha Fugaku." Orochimaru raised his eyebrows in surprise, but not surprise, that's it. It's no wonder that this boy can become the leader of the Uchiha clan at such a young age. So he is the father of Uchiha Itachi and Sasuke? The future leader of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku? He hasn't paid attention to this person for a long time, Do you think that in a blink of an eye you are already a jonin and can go on the battlefield? Speaking of Uchiha Fugaku, some people may not be familiar with it, or they think that Uchiha Fugaku is not very powerful. But as a scientist, Orochimaru wouldn't think so. You know, he is the father of Uchiha Itachi and Sasuke. His two sons are so outstanding, and their parents' genes have no contribution at all. He wouldn't believe it even to death. And on the night of the genocide, he started. Uchiha Itachi, who has mastered the Mangekyo, is most afraid of his father. If his father is not strong, how can he be afraid? Therefore, Orochimaru can say with certainty that this is an Uchiha whose talent is not weaker than that of the sun in seeing. Orochimaru staring at him, Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help but frowned. Now he is less than 16 years old, but he has also heard about the achievements of Orochimaru and the other three from the mouths of Uchiha En and Uchiha Shu. He also admires such a person very much. In addition, Orochimaru is a disciple of the third Hokage, so his current status is higher than him. In other words, he is on this battlefield now and has to listen to Orochimaru. Lord Orochimaru, please arrange the mission. Uchiha Fugaku felt uncomfortable when Orochimaru saw him, so he quickly urged. He already had a plan in mind. If Orochimaru's arrangement was unreasonable, he would never agree. Just kidding, these tribesmen are all Uchiha. He couldn't push the blinded elites into the fire pit. Orochimaru came back to his senses and smiled. There is actually no other meaning in letting you stay. I just want to form a sniper team with you to specialize in sniping and killing the enemy's puppet army. You, with us. Uchiha Fugaku was stunned. He did think that Orochimaru was going to put on small shoes for them. Orochimaru said calmly, what? Do you think that I will avenge my private revenge? Don't dare. If you don't dare, just listen carefully. Let's go together, including Lord Sakumo's team and their perception team, a total of 28 people. Now divide these 28 people into two groups, and start sniping at the enemy after entering the Kingdom of Rain. Sniper? But if the 28 people are divided into two groups, one group will consist of 14 people. The target of such a formation is too large and can easily be discovered by the enemy. Uchiha Fugaku quickly pointed out the shortcomings of the tactics. If the enemy discovers it, the enemy will probably mobilize a large number of ninjas to encircle and suppress us. Therefore, I will give you a set of ninja tools for sniping enemies, so that you are not afraid of being surrounded by enemies. A ninja tool for sniping enemies? Hearing this, not to mention Uchiha Fugaku, even Hitachi Sakumo and Jiraiya were stunned. Orochimaru ignored it and took out a scroll directly. Bang! White smoke flashed, and a special the box appeared in front of everyone. Open your Sharingan and watch, I will only demonstrate once. The country of rain is a small country where it rains all year round, and the rain almost never stops. In this war, the Kingdom of Rain has become a battlefield for three major powers. This morning, it was still drizzling. In the jungle of the Kingdom of Rain, countless figures are running quickly on the trees. They were all wearing black raincoats, and the rain rustled on their cloaks. However, they ignored it and still moved quickly forward. They are the unique unit of Sand Ninja, Puppet Masters. They need to go around from the side end, together with their frontal troops, double team Konoha's ninjas. The technique used by the Puppet Master is called Puppet Jutsu, which is a skill to control puppets. It was a puppet ninjutsu developed by the second generation Kazekage Salmon. Generally, chakra lines are released from both hands to control the puppets. The Puppet Master's ability depends on the number of puppets the Puppet Master can control at the same time. However, except for those outstanding Puppet Masters, ordinary Puppet Masters can only operate one puppet. Xiao Yang is a Sand Ninja and a Puppet Master. Although it was his first time on the battlefield, he had carried out many dangerous missions before, so this time he was able to join this puppet army and perform the mission of outflanking the Konoha ninjas. He was not afraid at all. On the contrary, I feel that this is a very glorious thing. Because their Captain Poluo is a puppet master that he has admired for a long time. It is said that Captain Poluo can already control 2 puppets at the same time, one for offense and one for defense. His combat effectiveness is very powerful. Hey, I love the weather in the land of rain. Yes, if it weren't for this kind of weather, I'm afraid Konoha's ninjas wouldn't be so easy to deal with. It is true. Although such rainy days have an impact on us, it is definitely not as big as Konoha. Ha ha ha, this time Konoha's ninjas encounter us, I'm afraid they will suffer a big loss again. Listening to the discussions of several teammates, Xiao Yang also smiled. Yes, as a puppet master, he knows that what puppets fear most is fire. Because fire can not only ignite their puppets, but also disperse the particles released by the puppets. Poison smoke. The most important thing is that the sand ninja are good at wind escape. And fire escape can just restrain wind escape. Therefore, the weather in Yuyan village is very beneficial to their sand ninjas. He believes that with the defense of their puppets, it's enough to withstand the fire escape technique released by Konoha in this situation. Stop chatting, everyone, cross the canyon ahead and you will reach your destination. You need to be careful. Captain Poluo's words interrupted Xiao Yang's meditation. Yes. Okay, Captain. Clear. Learn. The morale of the sand ninjas was high. Phew. A sudden sound broke the relaxed atmosphere of everyone. A puppet master who was running suddenly stepped on the air and fell down from the tree. He fell straight down. On the ground. He was motionless and seemed unable to get up again. Hey, Lu, what's the matter with you? Looking at his subordinates who fell to the ground, Captain Poluo didn't react. He didn't wait for a reaction. Phew. There was another sound of breaking through the air, and the powerful sand ninja captain also fell to the ground. He was dead. I don't even understand how I died. Enemy attack. Whoosh whoosh. The remaining sand ninjas finally reacted, and they quickly looked for cover. What is this? What happened? Damn it, who was attacked? I didn't see any enemies nearby. Hey, sensing ninja, sense it quickly. Good. A sand ninja quickly pointed the fingers of his left hand on the ground, then raised the index fingers of his right hand. He began to sense the enemy. At this time, Xiao Yang, who was hiding behind a boulder, looked at Captain Poluo who fell not far away from him. The look of horror on his face was incomprehensible. The captain of the puppet master that he had admired for so long died like this? How could this happen? He obviously had rich combat experience. Why did he die like this? On the other side, behind a pile of rocks, 2 Konoha ninjas were lying here wearing raincoats. A steady drizzle of rain rustled on their backs. But they seemed unaware. Just using their slightly demonic scarlet pupils, they stared closely at the Yuyan village canyon 800 meters away. If you look carefully, they seem to be wearing wireless headphones on their ears. 2. Well done. Unbelievable. Yes, although I dislike Orochimaru, this thing is really strong. Yan, what's going on over there? Don't worry, we're taking aim. Target, hey, Suna Ninja's puppet master? Goodbye. Bang. The soft sound was drowned by the patter of rain. What followed was the death of the sand ninja puppet master in the distance. Good, amazing. Beside Uchiha-en, Uchiha-ji holding a monocular telescope saw the Suna ninja lying on the ground in the distance. He was so surprised that he couldn't speak. Isn't this dam too strong? He was so far away. Can you kill the enemy at a short distance? Are you kidding me? On the other side, Uchiha Fugaku, who was lying on the ground and solved a puppet master, also looked incredulous. Because he still remembers the scene when Orochimaru took out this thing. Remember, it was an iron box. After opening it, it seemed that there were some special metal accessories inside. At that time, Orochimaru asked them to open the Sharingan. They didn't understand what Orochimaru wanted to do, but they still subconsciously opened their own Sharingan. Anyway, the Sharingan does not consume much chakra just to see. So, in their surprised eyes, Orochimaru assembled the accessories in the box one by one. In less than a minute, a very strange weapon appeared in everyone's sight. The length of the weapon is about 1 meter and 2 meters. It has a steel pipe, a tripod, a 10-fold scope, and a trigger. I remember when Orochimaru said that this thing can snipe enemies 1,000 meters away. They still didn't believe it. However, when Orochimaru loaded the bullet, aimed at a tree 800 meters away and pulled the trigger, everyone was surprised. Because the tree 800 meters away seemed to be really got hit. Hearing the surprise of the next Uchiha narrowed his eyes. It is indeed very powerful. What did Orochimaru say this thing was called? Sniper rifle. Ha, what a fitting name. Okay, stop chatting, pay attention to the enemy's movements, and try to snipe as many as possible. Learn. The enemy has already noticed it, and when they show up, they will headshot. Sniper rifle? Yes, the weapons they hold are sniper rifles. I won't tell you the model of the gun. If I tell you, it will easily lead to a dark room. The receiver is made of aluminum alloy, the butt is made of high-strength plastic and is divided into 2 sections, screwed together with the receiver. The front of the butt is equipped with an adjustable light bipod, the barrel is made of stainless steel, 660 meters long mm. It is screwed to the front of the extra-long receiver and can float freely in the butt. It has a lifespan of 5,000 rounds while ensuring accuracy. This is an extension of the weapon technology gun. Ordinary pistols have an effective range of only 50 meters to 100 meters. Even the Desert Eagle has an effective range of only 200 meters. Such a short distance is of no use to a ninja. You know, when ninjas fight, they usually bring sentient ninjas with them. There are many perceptive ninjas with a perception range of more than 100 meters. Not to mention the distance maintained by the ninjas on both sides in areas with clear sight. Coupled with the speed of the ninja itself, want to use a pistol to sneak attack? Almost impossible. But without a sneak attack, in frontal combat, the effect of the pistol is almost zero. Because for ninjas, kunai with detonating charms is more effective than pistols. Therefore, after Orochimaru unlocked a gun technology, he did not build an ordinary pistol, but directly chose a sniper rifle. The effective killing range of a sniper rifle is more than 1,000 meters, and the farthest is more than 2,000 meters. Converted into kilometers, that's 1 to 2.5 kilometers. What is the concept of 1 kilometer? You know, ordinary people can't see anything 1,000 meters away. The Byakugan of the Hyuga clan, even if they open their telescopic eyes, their field of vision is only about 1 kilometer. Now, with a weapon that can kill enemies from 1,000 meters away, how can they not be shocked? Orochimaru has never been a soldier, nor has he ever directed a war. But he was already a jonin. Being a jonin means that he has commanded many small-scale battles. Therefore, he is quite comfortable in commanding this kind of battle. When making the sniper rifle, he had already thought about the users of the sniper rifle. That is the Uchiha clan. The Uchiha clan's Sharingan and the wireless headsets purchased from the system mall are enough to make them become qualified snipers in a short time. Why did Orochimaru choose the Uchiha clan? This is actually not difficult to understand, because the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan can not only copy all of Orochimaru's movements, allowing them to learn how to operate a sniper rifle in a short time, but it can also see farther and predict through the scope the enemy's next move to carry out precise sniping. The observer on the side can also use the Sharingan to calculate the impact of rain, wind direction, and air resistance on the trajectory of the bullet. It can be said that the Uchiha clan is definitely the best candidate for snipers. The Sharingan's learning ability and prediction ability are definitely more suitable for sniping than the Hyuga clan. As for wireless headphones, this thing is actually not rare. The original Kakashi also used it. But that was 50 years later in Konoha. At this point in time, at the end of Konoha's 30th year, wireless headphones have not yet been manufactured, at least Orochimaru has not seen them. But compared to the power of the sniper rifle, the amazingness of wireless headphones can be completely ignored. Damn it, there's no one around who senses Konoha. What's going on? How did they die? Judging from the position where the captain was hit, the attack should have come from a 45-degree angle from the northeast. Xiao Yang closed his eyes, forced himself to calm down, and carefully recalled the situation just now. He clearly remembered the appearance of his captain when he fell just now. To the northeast, you can't go wrong. What? Northeast? Hearing this, the sand ninja was stunned for a moment, then subconsciously found an opportunity to look in the northeast direction. Are you kidding me? Is there anyone over there? No, not. No way? What's wrong? Do you think they might be on top of the mountain over there? One of the sand ninjas suddenly said. Hearing this, several sand ninjas poked their heads out, took a look and quickly retracted. Damn it, are you kidding me? Such a long distance. It cannot be. How can it be? All the sand ninjas had incredible expressions on their faces. Because through the rain curtain, they could see the top of the mountain very far away. From here to the top of the mountain there, it was at least 800 meters away. 800 meters, it has already exceeded the furthest combat distance of a ninja. If it is true, then withdraw first. We have no choice but to retreat first. Find a way to inform other teams that Konoha village has special attacks and ask them to evacuate temporarily. Good. Let's withdraw. Bang, bang, bang. Countless smoke bombs suddenly exploded. The sand ninjas immediately made a decision, and their minds were also very flexible. Knowing that the opponent might be attacking from a super long distance, they directly threw several smoke bombs on the spot. In a moment, the canyon was filled with smoke. The sand ninja also took advantage of the smoke to take away the bodies of their companions. The response is not slow. On the top of the other mountain, Orochimaru, who was wearing a raincoat and watching the scene in the canyon, put away the monocular telescope in his hand and said lightly. Not only do you know how to retreat in time, but you also know how to use smoke bombs to disrupt your vision. The record is already very good. 7 or 8 puppet masters were eliminated without wasting a single soldier. Yes, and these are just the enemies that our team has killed. Lord Sakumo has not even figured out how many have been eliminated. Jiraiya and Tsunade, who were standing next to Orochimaru, saw this scene with a monocular telescope, and they also looked strange. You know, their moods also went from shock to disbelief, then to surprise, and now to reluctance. Accept this. 800 meters away? What is this concept? At such a long distance, ordinary perceptive ninjas cannot sense it at all. As long as you hide a little, you can avoid the enemy's sight and attack the enemy. Ambush. Even if the enemy reacts and wants to come over from such a long distance, Konoha can respond in advance. Therefore, there is no need to worry about being surrounded by the enemy. Now they finally believe that Orochimaru is really he was using scientific research to take shortcuts. Thinking of this, the two of them looked at Orochimaru at the same time. One look was admiration. The other was admiration. The sand ninja will probably have a headache for a long time this time. Tsunade suddenly said. If you can't see the enemy, you will be the first to die. No matter who encounters this situation, he will definitely be careful next time he attacks. Not just for a long time. It is estimated that they will never dare to act rashly before they have discussed a sound strategy. Let's go snipe the rest of their puppet squad and make their memory stick. After Orochimaru finished speaking, he put his hand to his ear. Inyazuka Tsumugi, Uchiha Fugaku, please take your team to the designated place to assemble. Good. Learn. Swish, swish, swish. After receiving the answer, Orochimaru took the lead and jumped down the mountain. His tactics were actually very simple. 28 people were divided into 2 teams. Each team was assigned 8 Uchiha eyes openers, and 2 people were used in groups for sniping. 1 person each from Abarame Hinata and Inyazuka is used for reconnaissance, while Orochimaru and the other 3 are used to prevent enemies from showing up. Another team has the same lineup, but it is led by Hotaki Sakumo. It must be said that ninjas have really strong learning abilities. Especially the Uchiha clan's learning ability is ridiculously strong. They don't need to exercise physical fitness and disguise ability, let alone any fighting skills and combat abilities. Because these are the basics of ninjas. They only need to learn this weapon, how to use it is enough. As for the wind direction and the impact of weather on the bullet trajectory, in front of the Sharingan, these are nothing. Just shoot a few rounds, and the Sharingan can let them remember these rules, so that they can do it next time the attacks become more precise. Orochimaru, this thing has a lot of disadvantages. Jiraiya suddenly said this while he was running. As an excellent ninja, when encountering a new weapon, he naturally has to think about how to deal with such a situation. Since Leia is naturally no exception. He has been thinking about how to deal with it just now. Hearing Jiraiya's words, Orochimaru nodded slightly. Yes, it is very deadly for ordinary people, but for ninjas, there are indeed many disadvantages. So you can only use it 2 more times on the enemies before they react. Jiraiya nodded thoughtfully. Although Jiraiya is usually not serious, at this time, he is extremely serious. In just an instant, he thought of countless ways to deal with it. This thing can only be used for ambush. In other words, you need to know in advance where the enemy may appear before you can carry out an effective attack. The most important thing is that it must be used in a place with a wide field of vision. If you want to crack it, you only need to it's enough to fight in places with many obstacles. And with the speed of the ninja, if you pay a little attention to your position, you won't have time to aim on the other side. What's more, the ninja also has smoke bombs and clones to confuse the line of sight. In addition, there is a refill in the middle of the 2 bullets. Time. There are too many flaws. Of course, the current sand ninja had never seen this kind of weapon before, so they couldn't react in a short time, let alone come up with effective tactics. So, that's it. The Suna ninjas who entered the Land of Rain were ambushed by the 2 teams of Orochimaru and Hotaki Sakumo in the next few days. They often lose sight of the direction the attack is coming from and have already lost several people. This kind of long-distance combat caused a lot of trouble for the Sand Ninja. Many Sand Ninjas know that Konoha has a weapon that has a long attack range and enough lethality. To fight in a place with a wide field of vision, you need to detect the terrain first. If you have a wide field of vision and are not sure whether there are enemies, don't fight in this situation. As for where did Orochimaru's ambush route come from? 3 of the attack routes were given by the 3rd Hokage, and the others were picked up on the road using their perception team. On the border of the Kingdom of Wind, at the military base of Sand Ninja Village, outside the coach's tent. Looking at the countless corpses lying in front of him, the 3rd Kazekage, known as the strongest Kazekage in history, became angry. The enemy didn't even see it, so many people died? Just kidding? I have been on the battlefield for so many years, and this is the first time I have fought such a strange battle. It looks like Konoha has developed some amazing weapon. A middle-aged woman next to her who looked to be in her 40s and was wearing a robe also had a solemn face. At this time, she was carefully observing a bullet taken out from the corpse in her hand. After hearing the woman's words, Sandai Feng the shadow narrowed his eyes, and then the bullet in the middle-aged woman's hand escaped from her hand as if guided by some force. It automatically flew towards the 3rd Kazekage. The bullet just floated in front of him. Motionless. Gradually, the bullet turned in another direction. Phew! It hit the nearby mound with a burst of sound. Seeing this scene, the third Kazekage frowned directly. My magnetic escape, after using this kind of thing to hit the target, it only has this level of penetration. If you want to kill the enemy, the maximum range will not exceed 200 meters. However, according to the news from your subordinates, the attack distance of this thing is at least 800 meters. Cho, do you have any good suggestions? As he said that, the third Kazekage looked at the middle-aged woman next to him. Yes, the middle-aged woman is the original Granny Cho, the consultant of Sand Ninja Village in the Country of Wind, a top-notch puppet master, and a genius puppet master. The grandmother of the Red Sand Scorpion. After hearing the words of the third Kazekage, Cho thought for a moment. For weapons that are too far away, the field of vision is a breakthrough, but you still have to be cautious. Let's call back the subordinates who entered the Kingdom of Rain first. The order has been passed down. The third Kazekage let out a long breath. I didn't expect that Konoha, which has always relied on secret arts as its main strength, would actually work hard on ninja tools. It is indeed surprising that Konoha has talents in this field. Cho continued. However, although this ninja tool is useful, it is not impossible to deal with it. What I am most worried about now is another thing. Oh. The third Kazekage seemed to have reacted. You mean, the Konoha ninjas were able to continue fighting after being seriously injured before? Good. Cho said solemnly. An injury of that level would take at least a week if you relied solely on medical ninjutsu. But Konoha's ninjas completed it in just a few minutes. I have only seen this kind of situation with the first Hokage of Konoha village, and with this special ninja tool now, I am really worried. Before Cho finished speaking, the third Kazekage's eyes turned cold. The third Kazekage was not stupid, so he naturally understood the meaning of Chiyo's words. Researching weapons, secret medicines, and forbidden arts is what every village is doing. Even those small countries are like this. But before, everyone made things with similar technology and power. You have a tailed beast, I also have a tailed beast, you have a forbidden technique, and I also have a forbidden technique. It can be said that they are evenly matched. Even if there is a gap, it is only a gap in the number of ninjas themselves, their talents and inheritance. But now, they have begun to understand some of the things Konoha is studying. Super recovery power and super long-range attack. If this continues, the casualties of other countries will become greater and greater, and the casualties of Konoha will become smaller and smaller. In other words, the threat to other villages from Konoha village will become greater and greater. If Konoha is allowed to grow like this, will the Sand Ninja be annexed by them sooner or later? I used to think that the third Hokage of Konoha really wanted to coexist peacefully with other villages. Now it seems that they may have had their own ideas. Yes, I am worried about this, but even though you are the Kazekage now, I still want to remind you that if you want to solve this matter, there is no need to unite with other villages or anything like that. Cho looked indifferent. After saying this, he left the sight of the third Kazekage without waiting for an answer. No need to unite with other countries? Of course the third Kazekage understood what Cho said. Nowadays, the Sand Ninja is not the only ninja in the Land of Rain. One family. Other countries have not suffered from Konoha, so why should he say that? You know, for Suna Ninja, except for Konoha, other countries are still considered enemy countries. He will not be so kind as to remind the Earth country. Ninja, be careful of Konoha's special forces. The third Kazekage is not that stupid. Their idea is also very simple. Get out of the battlefield first, and wait until the Earth Kingdom also suffers some losses. It is best to be able to fight to the death of both sides, so that it's best for him, Suna Ninja, to reap the benefits. If he really doesn't fight, it doesn't matter, as long as he can weaken the fighting power of the Earth Kingdom a little and let them feel the threat of Konoha. He believes that other ninja villages are in. After feeling the threat from Konoha, I will never sit back and ignore it. When the time comes, I will adapt to the situation. The Suna Ninja is very cautious now, but the Konoha ninjas on the other side are very relaxed. because they had their first victory on the battlefield on the Sand Ninja side. At this time, many people chose to return to their respective camps after winning. Konoha's border is very long, so naturally there are many camps. Ha ha ha, let me tell you, in these 7 or 8 days, I killed 17 Suna ninjas by myself, and the Suna ninjas didn't even see me. How awesome! They are indeed a family of geniuses. These are 17 people, even Jounin. Hehe, it goes without saying that my Sharingan is a 3 Magatama. The enemy's movements cannot escape my eyes at all. As long as I predict his movements, boom, one shot can solve it. Tisk, what is this? Only 17 of them. I killed 19 of them and I didn't say anything. How? From what you say, do you mean to say that you are better than me? Isn't 19 more than 17? Damn it, Retsu Uchiha, do you want to compete with me? Compare? Am I afraid of you? Tell me, how do you want to compare? 1,200 meters, do you dare? If you don't dare, come on. Before Orochimaru entered the camp tent, Orochimaru heard these Uchiha tribesmen bragging. And it sounded like they were starting to ask for a fight. But when they saw Orochimaru enter the tent, everyone they were stunned for a moment, and then 1 or 2 of them consciously closed their mouths. In fact, the Uchiha tribe did not have a good impression of Orochimaru. However, during this period of time, everyone fought side by side, and they did recognize Orochimaru's strength. Of course, they recognized it. It's not Orochimaru's combat power that matters, but Orochimaru's command ability and this unique invention. Needless to say, the command ability can be seen from the fact that no one was injured after they conducted sniper missions for so many days. As for this invention, they never thought that this special metal structure, coupled with the metal slug propelled by gunpowder, could actually increase the attack distance to this extent. I believe that after so many days, you should be very skilled in disassembly and assembly. Come on, take the weapon apart, put it in its case, and give it back to me. Orochimaru looked at the equipment in the hands of the 4 people and stretched out his hand directly towards them. There were about 30 or 40 people in this big tent. 8 of them were from his team. In fact, for thermal weapons, Orochimaru has never thought about popularizing this thing. Even if it is for clones, he has never thought about it. Because he knows that once this thing is mass-produced and entered the battlefield, no matter how powerful your clones are, the weapons will easily fall into the hands of the enemy. With the creativity of the ninjas in this world, as long as you get one of them, it is not easy to copy a similar weapon. By then, the chakra plus the power of the thermal weapon will even have a negative impact on your self-threat. This is what Orochimaru doesn't want to see. Therefore, Orochimaru needs to recover these weapons before the enemy reacts. After hearing Orochimaru's words, the Uchiha tribesmen holding guns were obviously reluctant to give up. Uchiha Retsu said, Orochimaru, no, Lord Orochimaru, I think this weapon suits me very well. I also think this thing is suitable for me. Not only is it safer to kill enemies, but it also works better when combined with the Sharingan. A tribesman named Uchiha Akiera echoed. So what? So, I think we can use it to kill enemies in subsequent battles. Uchiha Retsu mustered up the courage. Do you not want to pay it back? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes, showing no emotion or anger. The Uchiha and the others did not answer, but the embarrassment on their faces showed the accuracy of Orochimaru's judgment. I never promised to give these things to you. After Orochimaru said this, he was actually a little surprised. Because he had heard before, what kind of sniper would have feelings for his sniper rifle. He didn't believe it before, but now he believes it. Even Uchiha is like this arrogant, such a proud person has developed feelings for this weapon in just a few days. Not to mention ordinary people. But... Stop it, this is an order. Orochimaru didn't bother to talk nonsense to them and just handed out the order. The Uchiha clan has conflicts with the village, but the conflicts are not that deep at this time. And no matter how deep the conflict is, they don't dare to disobey orders. So when Orochimaru gave the order, both of them became angry. In the end, Uchiha Fugaku took the lead and dismantled the weapon according to Orochimaru's requirements, then wiped it clean, applied the protective oil given by Orochimaru, and put it into the gun box. And headphones and bullets. Remember, before setting off, each of you gave you 50 rounds. According to the combat situation in the past few days, there should be quite a few left. At this time, there was only one voice in the hearts of several Uchiha clan members. Why is Orochimaru so stingy? But Orochimaru ignored it and took all these things back to the coach's tent. Orochimaru, you are so awesome, this thing of yours is really useful. After Hatake Sakumo returned to the camp, he also came to the coach's tent and said to Orochimaru. This period of time has been an eye-opener for him. Snipe the enemy from a long distance. The enemy doesn't know what's going on, so he certainly won't dare to move, let alone send people to encircle and suppress him. Orochimaru, who was thinking about the problem in the tent, smiled. Sir Sakumo, it seems that you are very free on this mission. Not only is it very leisurely, Hatake Sakumo paused here. Haha, don't call me sir, it sounds weird. Even though Orochimaru had a higher rank than him in this military base, he kept calling him politely. Grown-ups. Hatake Sakumo was terrified. Okay, let's get down to business. Orochimaru said casually. Based on the situation in the past few days, the sand ninja dare not move for the time being, but there are still rock ninjas, so we can't relax our vigilance yet. This is natural. Oh, by the way, I'll give this back to you. As he spoke, Hatake Sakumo took out a scroll, channeled 4 boxes and other equipment, and placed them on the conference table. According to your instructions, I have done all the cleaning and protection. Thanks for your hard work. Orochimaru nodded and took it. Then he took out the big scroll placed in the corner of the tent and channeled a small iron box. Seeing this box, Hatake Sakumo couldn't help but smile. He was surprised before that Orochimaru. Why did Maru put this kind of iron box into such a big scroll? But with Orochimaru's actions later, he quickly understood. Because this iron box contained all space scrolls. The space scrolls contain space power. A large space scroll cannot be placed in a small space scroll. Therefore, we can only use this method of carrying a large space and a small one. In other words, there are many other things in Orochimaru's large scroll. On the other side, Konoha village, the Hokage's office. A few days after Orochimaru and others defeated the Suna ninja, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the military battle report on his desk and was stunned. Special ninja tool? The killing distance is thousands of meters? Are you kidding me? The third Hokage's first reaction was not how awesome Orochimaru was, but why Orochimaru developed such a weapon without telling himself. Could it be that this guy? However, seeing the information sent back by Tsunade explaining the reason why Orochimaru developed this weapon, the third Hokage was immediately relieved. He has quite a lot of knowledge compared to the third Hokage. He knew that the weapons of some small countries were very special. With Orochimaru's character, it was normal for him to take some special weapons and study them and improve them. But, after all, he is the Hokage of the village and Orochimaru's teacher. Orochimaru's move of making weapons privately still made him feel a little uncomfortable. Although it is true that you have made great contributions this time, I hope you will not go astray. The third Hokage murmured to himself. Compared to Sarutobi's worries, Danzo didn't think too much. He only knew that although this thing could only be used for ambush and had many flaws, but with this attack range, maybe he could is it useful. Spring is warm, flowers are blooming, and everything is revived.